Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. It's been a while. Why has it been a while? I don't know. But we're here. We're here. Welcome, everyone. I appreciate you for dropping by on this Saturday. Technically, it's Pokemon Day, official Pokemon Day, and it's Sabotage. Thank you for that 3-month resub. We had some other support events. The She-Boss with a 9-month resub. Hello. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been too long. I really want to get back into streaming more often, but right now, I have a 9 a.m. work meeting 4 days a week. And, you know, it just drains me, so... Yeah, but welcome, everyone. And DS Legends, thank you for that 8-month resub, 8-month Prime resub. And Ched with that 10-month resub. Yeah, the garden is a little... Actually, I mean, there's this garden, but... Hey, welcome to the show. Let's all start by playing the drop game, and we do have a hype train. I appreciate you all for that. If you do ! Drop me in the chat, you will see your avatar fall like this, or you could drop a Pokemon, and if it lands in the garden, you'll get your name on the screen. And that, the Pat's father. Thank you very much for that Prime sub. But yeah, we can fill out this garden a little bit more. And PJ Keller with that 7-month resub. So here's what happens when I don't stream often enough. All the resubs just pile on, but I really appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Mike Broody, thank you for that 5-month resub. Somehow my overlay is missing some of the sub events. Is it possibly because they're not like you early resubbed or something like that? I don't know, but I appreciate you. I really, really appreciate you. Okay, what's gonna happen today? It's gonna be chill. We're gonna get started by saying hello to everybody, and hashkex, thank you very much for that Prime sub. I'm gonna say hi, and then we're gonna vote on what to build. Yeah, I was gonna mention I believe it's Pokemon Day. That's the thing. Why is it celebrated on the 27th of February? I believe it's like the anniversary of when Pokemon launched. I accept your cookies. It's in this year exactly is the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. And my alarm is going off because it's time to start the stream. Pokemon Day is celebrated on the 27th of February every year, and this year, 2021, is special because it marks 25 years since the franchise was founded. Yeah, so I guess it was founded February 27th, 1996. So, whatever we build today, it'll have something to do with Pokemon, because it'll be fun. And I have some I realize the packaging is blue, but I have some XY Evolutions packs that I want to open up. I got 10 of them. I'm looking for Charizard. Not because I want him, but because I need him. I'm trying to complete an XY Evolution set, and it's the last expensive card that I haven't pulled yet that I don't feel like paying $80 for. So, hopefully there's a Charizard in here. And after we'll open cards after we code. We got to get all the coding out of the way, and then anybody that wants to stick around for that, we'll open these up. Cool. Pokemans, yeah. So I went to Target 2 days ago, and I was buying a box of Champions Path and a couple of Rebel Clash boosters, and I believe most Targets now have a rule that you can only buy a certain amount of each kind of Pokemon thing, because people are going crazy buying way too much. And so I had 3 Rebel Clash boosters and 2 Champions Path boxes. And the lady at the register was like, you can only get 3. And I was like, these are different. She was like, but they're both Pokemans. And I was like, but they're very different. And they were able to ring up because they were different. Pokemans. Okay. Let's say hi. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. Actually, before we say hi, let's introduce my overlay and how all this stuff works. You all saw the drop game. You can play the drop game throughout the stream. What's our slow mode on? 30 seconds. You can drop pretty much once every 30 seconds. An MB Dealer, thank you for that 7-month resub. Very much appreciated. Let's talk about the overlay. So you can see in my overlay, there are quite a few people with some customized things. You can see that the OxD has his pronoun set. And he has the Denmark flag. Who else we got? We got Spineless Linus with the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland flag, and also the React badge, React logo. Who else? We got DS Legends with the Canada flag and the Vue.js logo, Vue.js team. And hey, Gideon Esquire, thank you very much for that gift sub to Turtle Monkey. Turtle Monkey, friend of the stream. also likes Pokemon cards. Congrats to Turtle Monkey. Cool. So if you too want to set those things in your messages that appear on my screen, you can do it like so. So I just showed this link here. So if you go to the Font Awesome brand cheat sheet, and greetings, Zarbazon. Hello from Greece. Very good. So if you go to this webpage, there's a bunch of little icons, and basically pick any name from this page, and you can set it as your team badge. Is Pokemon on here? Pokemon is not on here. I'm gonna go with the Chrome logo because it kind of maybe looks like a Pokeball. That's what I'm gonna choose. But pick any name from this webpage, and then in the chat you can do !team followed by whatever you got from that page. And your messages will have a little logo on it like that. Look at that. If you want to set your country, you can only have one team, and the way you color it is by setting this is a Twitch chat setting, by setting your display color. This is going to look very different to you because these are mod settings, but somewhere down here in your chat, there's a way to change the color of your name, how it appears here. Let's take a quick stretch. Oh, you can use /color too. Cool. Yeah, /color probably with like a hex code. But my overlay uses that color as long as that color does not clash with this purple background that I'm using. Because if it clashes, I do some things to try and figure out a color that will not clash. Though it's broken in some ways. It's broken, and what I was just thinking about is, why don't I just set people's name to white if there's not good contrast? Because then I don't even have to worry about doing all that work. Because right now it's kind of hacky. It's a very hacky solution. But I don't know. But hello, Katsamillion. Welcome to the show. Shout out to Katsamillion. She is my partner, and she's sitting upstairs. And it's very likely that tomorrow I'm going to stream she's going to stream. I'll be a guest there, and we're going to just eat random Japanese foods and taste test them. And maybe also open Pokemon cards. We like Pokemon cards in this house. Cool. If you want to set your country code, that's where we left off. You can do !country followed by your 2-character country code. 2 characters, not 3. You can potentially put the name of the country and it might still work, but just like Sean just did, country and then US. You don't have to put US wherever you're from. And then in the chat, it will put the flag there. Monkey Maniac is a Python beginner. Been working on an adventure game. Very cool. Very cool. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Katsamillion just unlocked affiliate. So that's what we're going to be celebrating and eating lots of interesting foods. So that'll be fun. Okay. Right. Other thing, pronouns. So the possible pronouns are. Isn't that a command? I feel like that's a command. There they are. She, he, they, they, ko, none, say, hi, it, one, m, or yo. You can choose any one of them from this list. And then in the chat, you can do !pronoun, singular, and then pick one from the list. So for me, my preferred pronouns are he, him, his. So I do !pronoun he. And then in the chat, all of my messages have my preferred pronouns on them. Yeah, and then the last thing is setting your status. What to do with Amazon Prime and Twitch? Well, I'm glad you asked, because if you didn't know, you can link. I think we have a link for it. You can link your Amazon Prime account to Twitch, and that unlocks one free subscription. And a subscription is just a way to support a streamer. You get, first of all, some of the perks. You get access to all of these Coding Garden exclusive emotes. All of these here. And specifically for my channel, I believe you can also watch without ads, because I have that setting enabled for my channel. And you support me, so that's a Twitch Prime sub. And there we go, Avery. Thank you for that Prime sub. And it is a 1-month prescription. It expires after a month, and then you have to do it. Here we go, a free sub every month, but you need to come back every month to refresh it, right? And then like this Technic 9000, that was a Prime sub. Thank you, Technic, for that Prime sub. Anybody that subscribes where it doesn't say Prime, that just means that they're actually giving me money. Like MB Dealer, they've given me money for 7 months now, which is crazy, and I appreciate them, and all the other people that have given me money, like PJ Keller, and Mike Broody for 5 months. Yeah. Okay. All right. Great work, everyone. Thank you for that hype train. What are we missing? We're missing status. So you can see Ched has their status set to hype train. Who else has a status? Let's see. Acid Spark has their status set to work. ACs has their status set to watching CJ. So you two can set your status, and it must be appropriate. If it is not safe for work, if it's not work appropriate, then you will be timed out and possibly banned. So in the chat, you can do !set-status and set your status. So what's my status? I think I'm gonna do like the Pika OMG. That's it. That's my status. And now all of my messages. Wait, did that not work? Did I get that wrong? No dash. Set status. Yeah, that's it. No dash. So !set status without a dash, and then all of your messages will have that. You also can just type text. You can say, just a guy writing some code. Pika. OMG. Cool. And now all of my messages will have that nice little status at the bottom. Okay. You've been giving me money for almost 7 months. Yeah. I think I can see that. No. /user @ACs. Following since April 19th, 2020. Wow, that's almost a year. Tier 2 sub for 7 months. That's the other thing. If you see a tier 2 or a tier 3 sub, they're giving me more money than the regular amount of money. Cool. Yeah, and all the stuff you see on my screen is open source. If you check out the frequently asked questions in that specific repo here, there is a file that, so first of all, a bunch of questions get answered here, but in this repo, there's this file called Overlays in Chat Manager, and it has a link to all of the code for this thing, for the drop game, I believe for the follower and sub counter, all that good stuff. But it links to the stream where I coded it and the source code on GitHub. I will say, the code's ugly. Code is very ugly. And a lot of it is specific to my channel, but you're more than welcome to take it and modify it and do what you will with it. And I will mention Distream Chat, which is an open source project by some really great people who just so happen to be some of my mods. Did I spell that right? Distreamchat.com. That's not it. Is anybody here that knows it? Distreamchat.io? Because it's not Dish Twitch Chat. What is it? David Snyder 404 and Murdoch Turner they both work on that tool. And I guess Andrew might work on it too. If any of you are here or if you show up, let me know what it is. I'll drop the link, because that one it's an overlay that, maybe that's it, 2 S's? It's an overlay that looks very similar to mine, but it's usable by other people. That's the one. Thank you. Thank you, Crimson. This is the one. So if you're a streamer, you can use this tool, and your moderators can use this tool, and then it's a nice little app like this. And yeah, I guess if you didn't know, this is actually an Electron app, and it's see-through. But yeah, check this out. Oh no. I accidentally closed my chat window, but I'll open it back up. But if you want something like that on your stream, definitely check that out. npm run electron I forget what it's called. npm run serve chat. How do I not have this command? Maybe it just is npm run electron npm run electron serve. Wait, no, that's not a command. Oh, it is. It is a command. Yeah. Okay, this is it. We figured it out. Chatweb is actually the one that's running over here. It looks the same, but this is actually just running in a browser window, whereas this one is running in an Electron window. But we figured it out. We're here. I think that's it. We explained how all the things work, right? Did I forget anything? I don't think I forgot anything. Let's say hi. We're gonna do I mean, it doesn't have to be a speed run, but not everyone wants to see me say hello for 30 minutes. So we're gonna spend 7 minutes saying hi. We're gonna set a timer for 7 minutes. Here we go. If you would like to say hello to me, I'm going to filter the chat, and we're going to say hello to the first people that said hello. And S-Fox, how's it going? But in the chat, you can write any message that matches this regular expression. You can say hi, hello, hey, morning, afternoon, evening, howdy, g'day, coding hiyo, vohayo, bogahay, any of these things. If it matches that regular expression, your message will appear here. And we're going back in time to... Let's see this. 29 minutes ago, Chad said hello. Hello, Chad97. Thank you for being here. Who else we got? Big Boots. Hello. What's up? Creepinson and Spineless Linus and Mr. Pyramid and Limotes and JD Cezanne and Gabriel and Slake and Zapuppet and Comcomer and Robelin and Afa and Frey Dumazy. How's it going? What's up, Rogue Soul? And Orizone and Doc. What's up, Doc? Hello, DS Legends and Photon and Michael Isgar. And I am, and DevNode, and It's Me Delano, and DeMarquez, and Jake Hedichu, and Kokai, and Gian, and Masaldo, and Aces, and Flan Flapple, and Skrr. What's up, Eunice, Bogahay? Reekster, how's it going? Hello, Marcus, and Snowman Factory, and Randomness, and Imater. Hello, what's up, Percy? And Somali Banana, and Isra Razel. I don't know why I stumbled over that. Isra Razel. Hello, I'm doing good. How are you? Hello, DF Dez and Brofar. I'm new, and I like that your chat rules are zero indexed. Yeah. When you click on the chat to see the rules, yes, they are zero indexed. This is true. What's up, Rick? And Excavator and Alif and Dario and Alub and the Pat's father. Been watching your videos on YouTube. First time watching live. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you very much for that sub earlier. I appreciate you. From Ireland, very cool. And Metalab. Metal Alb, how's it going? What's up, the Oxd and Yazuza? Hello from a third world country. Hello, what's up, Katsamillion? And Ahmad Benos, hello, what's up, Grilla? And Ezzy and Razorson and Earl Couldn't. What's up, Kinakale? I'm really out of practice. Usually I can say hi to everyone really, really fast, but I'm a bit out of practice. It's okay. What's up? Vato de Harina and Calareza and Schopenhauer Breeze. Hello. What's up, S-Fox? And 2468 and Me Not Santa and Shaggy. I feel like it's been a while. I mean, I haven't streamed in a while. I don't know if you've been here in a while, but hello, Shaggy. Thanks for being here. What's up, Technic? And Mr. Spacey, thank you, Mr. Technic, for that sub earlier. And B. Jensen, hello, and Crank, and G. Casemiro, and Morgree, and Devboy, and Sound of Gaming, and Smolliance, and It's Sabotage, hello, and A Random Tim, and Blank447, and Hashek, and Sirwan, and Monkey Maniac, and Crimson, and Bravo, and Improved, and FT Deb, and Nubister, Bogahay, what's up, Gap, and Tomato Juice, and Callum, and Celix, and Jobain, and Max Power, and Lemuel Tofu, hello, howdy to you, what's up, Cheo, and Ashley B, and D. Kristan, and Tux, and what's up, Blue Hippie, and Spiral Double Helix, and what's up, Sherby, and hello, Marcus, and Kinsley, and Blue Spider, and Myhosh, and Jason, what about Bonjour? You know, we get a lot of requests for things we should add to the to this, but I will say bonjour to you, Jason. Thanks for being here. What's up, Candette, and Daisy Lockett, and Angus Miguel, and Nettie Socket, and DJ Domco, and Ed. How's it going, Ed? What's up, a light year away? And we've done it. Look at that. We did it in roughly 3.5 minutes. Great work, everyone. And Nookie Poo, thank you for that 8-month resub. If at any time you resub and it doesn't appear on my screen, just let me know, because I will acknowledge it, and I'm sorry if I miss any of them, because I feel like every now and then one just doesn't pop up. I think we got most of them, though. Like, did Callum pop up? Maybe it did. Thank you, Callum, for that resub. And Alan. All right, anybody else, if I haven't said hi, now's your chance. Just say hi, and I'll say hi back. We don't want a 2,000 character regex? You know. What's up, Unhot? Hello, thanks for being here. Cool. Did my resub pop up? I think it might have. Nettie Socket? That sounds familiar. Or maybe it didn't. It's not even in this list. And DS Legends? It is in this list, but I feel like I acknowledged it because it didn't pop up. But hello, DS Legends. I appreciate you all. What's cooking? We're gonna vote on it. It's gonna be something with Pokemon because today is Pokemon Day. It's like officially the 25th anniversary. Like today is the day. So let's do something Pokemon related. I think I have a list of like random things I potentially wanted to work on. Let's see if any of them are Pokemon related. Oh. We could actually make this Pokemon related, though I don't know if I want to. Let me just tell you about it. Okay, so I have on my list of things a scrolling stock ticker. I actually wanted to make a scrolling stock ticker that had like GME on it, so that would just scroll across my screen while I'm streaming. But what we could do is we could show Pokemon card values on a stock ticker. Though I don't think I want to do that, mainly because I care more about the cards and not about the value, but it could be interesting. One thing that's definitely on the list is building an API for Japanese Pokemon cards. I haven't really found any I haven't found any Japanese, any APIs that give me information about Japanese Pokemon cards. And so that would probably involve some web scraping. We did like a map in a store locator last time, but we could potentially build a map that shows you where all of the Pokemon centers are. They're all in Japan. There's also some vending machines like in the US. News scroller. I don't know, we could build a page that pulls in Pokemon news. We could do something that you in the chat could control, maybe on my screen, that does a Pokemon thing. Is there a maybe I can find a Pokemon GIFs. We could find some interesting GIFs. I want pixelated GIFs. Pixel art GIFs. Let's see. Yes, it's pronounced GIF with a soft G. Pokemon Go CJ version. Wait, I don't want it to be too complicated. I'm only going to be streaming for about 2 hours. Turn on dark theme. Dark theme. Save. Your preferences have been saved. Ooh, look at that. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, thank you, Callum, for that suggestion. We could build... Actually, honestly, I think we're just going to do this because that would be fun to code and to see it happen. We could build a virtual booster pack opener. We could tap into the Pokemon TCG API. So this is an existing API that's free to use. You can get it. I believe you can get an API key or use it and use it for free. And thank you, Tempar, for that resub. Wow. Yes, this is an API that will give you information about Pokemon cards. And what we could do is build a virtual booster pack. So you can go to this webpage, choose an expansion, because there's a lot of different expansions. And then we could create a pack opening experience where basically we show like 10 face down cards, and then you click on the cards one at a time. It flips it over and it reveals the card that you pulled from that pack. Let's just build that. Type 1 in the chat if that excites you. Type 2 in the chat if that doesn't excite you. Type 3 in the chat if you're just here to hang out. Nice. It looks like people are going to be okay with that. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Awesome. We got some people hanging out. I honestly, I feel like there's a lot of new people here too, like people I haven't seen on the stream in a while or before. And I appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out. This is not normally the time that I stream, so it's good that I can stream at a time when other people can tune in. We have slightly invisible unbranded sports drink, and thank you, Rico, for that Prime resub. Is there a way to do that with seedlings? You mean like a pack redemption? I think it's just going to be a web page that anybody can go to. People have built similar things before, and like it's going to be just that web page. You're not going to be able to do anything with the cards. It's just all hell slightly invisible unrated sports drink. It's just fun. It's just for fun. And what will be fun is, first of all, the API integration. So we'll have to hit this API to get information about cards. That's going to be one interesting thing where you might learn something. The second thing is going to be like CSS animations. So we'll figure out how to make a card flipping animation with CSS. That will be fun. And then in there'll be lots of fun little challenges that we come across. And what's up, Mr. Demon Wolf? Thanks for being here. Hello, hello. Hitting an API sounds violent. No, we're going to request it, some data from it nicely. Okay, but so they revamped their website since the last time I was here, but they do have this thing, which is the PokemonTCG.guru, and this basically just uses the API that we're going to be using, but you, for example, can take a look at sets. And so this is going to be the starting point for our pack opening. Where first you choose which expansion you want to open cards from, because if you're not familiar with the world of the Pokemon TCG, there are many expansions. If you opened Pokemon back in the day, you were probably used to like the base Pokemon set, or Jungle, or Fossil, or Base Set 2, or Team Rocket. This was back in the day, like in '99, at least for the English cards. But then after that, they started coming out with a lot of different expansions, and they've come out with multiple expansions every year since then. The most recent expansion is Shining Fates, and I don't want to brag, but I pulled the Charizard. There's a shiny Charizard. Actually, I can just do it. Sort by set and number. Actually, I don't know. Sort by name. So this is the Shiny Vault of Shining Fates. Where's the... Oh, there's no view as a list? I'm not the biggest fan of this navigation. But here we go. Charizard VMAX Shiny. Let's look at him. I pulled this card. The very first pack I opened of Shining Fates, I pulled this card. There's a thing above the garden in the back. Oh. What is that? Ah! This is actually glare from a window that is being reflected onto my blue screen. I'll fix that in a second. But this card right now is selling for like $600, or I think it's gone down a little bit, but it's kind of insane. Okay, we'll fix the blue screen, but the first thing we're going to need to do is request this list of sets, so you can pick a set. So for example, actually the set I'm going to be opening today is called XY Evolutions, and this was a partial reprint of the base set. So what we'll do is on the first page, you'll pick a set like XY Evolutions, and then we're going to pick random cards from this set list. And booster packs work in a very specific way. You have several common cards, then a few uncommon cards, and then a reverse holo card, and then a rare card. And a rare card could be something crazy like this, or it could even be like this holographic Poliwrath, which is a rare. Also comes in non-holographic, but I pulled this the other day. It's a great card. It's very nostalgic. Yeah, well, I disabled most of the redemptions just because I had the notifications turned off. I could probably go re-enable them. And I satisfied. Thank you for that resub. Did I say, okay, Google? Okay, Google. Buy Pokemon cards. Okay, so we're going to pull random cards from this list. We're going to see the backs of the cards, and then you'll be able to click on them to reveal which ones you have pulled. This is a super cool card animation. Let's check it out. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. I don't know who did that, but we might borrow this code. We might borrow this code, and then like usually the last card in the pack is a rare card. It may or may not be holographic, but if it is holographic, we could use an interesting effect like this. Wow. It is fantastic, yeah. I really like that. Okay, let me fix my blue screen, and while I'm doing that, curtains.js, is that a thing? Curtains. Whoa! Pokemon cards are not that fabric. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. All right, but I'm gonna let you all vote on what we build this thing with, because you got options. What to build, what to use. Should we use React? A lot of people like React. I don't really like React. I use it at work. It's cumbersome. We could use Vue. We could use Svelte. Those are your options. We could also just use Vanilla.js, which basically means none. those are your options. You have, let's give you, 3 minutes. Vote now. Vote now. And I believe in the chat you can do /vote followed by either 1, 2, 3, or 4, or you can just click this up here and click on your vote. All right, I'm gonna fix. Wait, I think it fixed itself. It was a glare, but I'm gonna make it so that it shouldn't happen again. No TypeScript, mainly because today is for fun. TypeScript's not fun. It's true. If I wanted to sway the vote, I could say, if you don't have a vote, vote for vanilla, because that means no frameworks. And I guess everybody wins? I don't know. But I think I'm actually going to open a pack of cards right now. So that I can show you what I mean that they have a specific order. And wouldn't it be great if there was a Charizard in this pack? But I'll... Is it tied right now? Well, it's tied with View. Yeah, so while you all are voting, let's talk about Pokemon cards. How to build a website with View with several sites, says ACs. Do you mean like you have several websites, but you want them all to be the same code base? Is that what you mean? What are we building? No, it's not a poll framework. So this is a pack of Pokemon cards. This specific set's called XY Evolutions. It came out in 2016 for the 20th anniversary of Pokemon. And yes, this fancy top-down cam is literally just for Pokemon. I mean, I use this as a whiteboard sometimes too. But yeah, this set came out in 2016, and it was part of the cards or a reprint of the base set. Now I'm going to show you my binder. This is my my XY Evolutions binder, and I'm attempting to complete a master set. Now what this means is I'm attempting to collect like one of every card. You got to catch them all. And so you can see I've got, and they're in numbered order. So we've got all these grass Pokemon. That's page 1. And the idea of a master set is you're collecting all versions. So in more modern sets, every card has a regular version and a reverse holographic version. Not every card, but most common and uncommon cards and some rare cards. Did XY get a game? I don't know. Anybody that plays Pokemon on various Nintendo devices, was XY ever in a game? But so we have our regular, then we have our reverse holographic. Great. Let's go on to page 2. We've got that's the reverse holographic Kakuna. So Beedrill is actually a rare card, but we have a non-holo Beedrill and then a reverse holo Beedrill. We have a non-holo Tangela, reverse holo Tangela. We've got a non-holo Charmander, reverse holo Charmander, non-holo Charmeleon, reverse holo Charmeleon, and then we've got a bunch of blank spots for Charizards. Now, I have all of the Charizards except for one, and these cards are a little bit more valuable, so I have them set off to the side. But the Charizard that goes right here, it's a holographic Charizard. That's the one I'm missing, and I don't want to pay like $80 for it. But you can see, I'm really close to completing the set. There's only a few cards that I'm missing. I'll tell you, probably one of my favorite cards is this Raichu. So this is a holographic Raichu, but it's just so nostalgic. Look at it. It's like you opened a pack back in 1999. It's a beautiful thing. But that also has a reverse holo version. And then probably another one of my favorite cards, just because it's so nostalgic, is the holographic Nidoking. Look at that. Okay, but these are the cards we're going to be opening later, but I want to show you how a pack of Pokemon cards works. Okay, so first of all, you open it up. That's step 1. It comes with a card that can be used for the online game. And I don't want to show... I'll show it to you afterwards because I don't want to reveal something about it. But this is the pack. the cards are in a very specific order. Usually what we do is we flip it around. We take, in this specific set, it's the top 3 cards. Because this card right here is the rare card. And to build up the excitement, we want the rare card to be the last card that we reveal, because this could be a Charizard. We don't know, but it could be. And so you can take these 3 cards, put them on the front, or take these 3 and put them here, because this is usually the reverse holo, but I'm going to put them on the front for ease. These packs don't always come with an energy card. So we're not going to see that in this expansion, but now, having done that, the top 3 cards are uncommon, and you can tell by the marking in the... Actually, it's over here. You can't see it that well, but that's a diamond. Diamond means it's uncommon. So we have 3 uncommon cards. We've got Charmeleon, got a Charizard Spirit Link Trainer, and a Poliwhirl. Then we move on to the common cards. So that little circle means that it's common. Great. And the reason I'm telling you this is because we're about to build a digital version of this. You got to know how it works. So the thing we're going to do is basically they're going to be 3 uncommon cards upside down, and one at a time we're going to flip them over. Then we get to our common cards. So we've got a Rattata, Vulpix, Electabuzz, Magikarp, Ghastly, a reverse holo full heal, so that's your reverse holo card, which can be either a common, uncommon, or rare, and this is actually a reverse holo uncommon. And then you have the rare card, and what is it? It is just a regular Mewtwo. It's non-holographic Mewtwo, still a great card. I'll show you that I have an entire page of these. Schrodinger's Charizard. It's not that until you open it up. But what's up, the Diabolical? Thank you for that raid. I don't know if I've seen your stream before. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Welcome, Raiders. We're opening Pokemon cards right now, but the reason we're doing that is we're about to build a digital pack opener. So I wanted to show how the pack opening works. And so basically, I think what we're going to do is build a digital version of it that kind of works like this. So you have 3 uncommon cards, and then you have all your commons, and then you have your reverse holo and your rare. I guess I can't show all of these. But the idea is we're going to build a web page that shows a digital version, and you click on them and then flip them over one at a time. That's what we're about to do. So let's do it. And welcome. Did we get a shout out for whoever rated? What were you working on? Thanks for being here. But before I do that, I want to show you look at all my Mewtwo's. I got a lot of Mewtwo's. All right. Flip with Pokemon Crest. Working on object-oriented JavaScript. Very cool. All right. Let's write some code. And I actually don't know what one. Does anyone want to tell me what one? Yeah. This is the wrong scene. This is fine. This is fine. This is actually a scene that we want. Can anyone tell me Fire? Oh yeah, do cards repeat? They usually don't. Usually you don't get duplicate. Usually you don't get duplicates. The only thing you might get a duplicate of is if you get a reverse holo card, because the reverse holo could technically be a duplicate of one of the non-holo cards that you got. Yeah. Well, Jan, I actually only paid about $7 a pack, which is not horrible. It's not. It's if you watched me opening cards like 2 months ago, I was like, I'll never pay that much for a pack. But now packs packs of XY Evolutions are selling for like between $15 and $20. Yeah, but for these packs, I averaged about $7 a pack. Okay, Vue 1. So we're going to build this with Vue.js. Let's just get a Vue app going, and then we'll hit this API, which is going to give us back a bunch of cards. Here we go. Who's ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. Make directory. Pokemon Booster Pack. Yeah, let's just call it Pokemon Booster Pack, because that's exactly what it is. If anybody wants to do some research for me, it'd be good if we could find the booster pack art. Because if you look for like XY Evolutions Well, I mean, I just showed you physically, but like the pack that I opened had the Blastoise art. But there's also Charizard and Venusaur. But if there was an easy way to get the pack art for any given set name, that would be good for the app. We may not. If we can't find it, that's fine, because I don't think it's in this API. But if we could, that would be nice. So cool. Getting holographic WebGL shit. I'm not gonna write it from scratch. I'm gonna copy paste somebody else's code. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I like opening packs, so I'm more willing to pay for the packs than I am for the individual cards. But I'm probably gonna just have to buy the cards. And hello, Anacodes, welcome to the chance. Yeah, so I'm gonna create my own odds, like maybe a 1 in 4 chance of getting a holographic card, and a 1 in 8 chance of getting a GX card versus just a regular holo rare. We'll figure it out. Oh, that's right. Spiral Double Helix TCG Player, I believe, has pack art. TCGplayer.com. They do have an API we could potentially hit. But the thing is, yeah, like this. Copy image location as a product ID. Well. Shining Fates Crobat Premium Collection, nice. That collection is just releasing, isn't it? But congrats. I was only able to get 1 pre-order in, and I got I got 2 Bunnelby pin collections, and my partner got 2 Bunnelby pin collections, and I pulled a Charizard on the first pack. Okay, we need to make a view app. I saw earlier some people were mentioning we could use Vitae. I'm open to it. I just haven't done it before, but let's see. So Vite is like a modern build tool made by the same person that created Vue.js, Evan You, YYX990803. He's the creator, but Vite is a modern build tool because it uses features of the browser instead of having to build everything. The only thing is, can we use it with Vue 3? We don't technically have to use Vue 3. I am just going to do this. Here we go. Let's see what happens. npm init at Vite.js app. Yeah. Thank you, Spiral Double Helix. I'll take a look. We voted on it, and that seemed to be the thing that won. I don't think we're going to need an API, but for whatever reason, we're just going to call this client because it's going to be in a client folder. Select a template, Vue. Now run cd client, npm install. Oh, Doc says if we use this thing, they're using a shader? Wait, is it a CSS shader? These are CSS animations. Oh, were you talking about curtains.js? I might just use this because this looks easy enough. No TypeScript. Okay, so that was a fast install. And then if we do npm run dev, let's see what happens. So we're listening on port 3008. Look at that. We've got a Vue app. We can click the button and the count goes up. Cool. Yeah. Someone shared it. Was it Callum that shared it in the chat? This is all done with CSS, so we might do this on the rare card. Yeah. Hello, Powex. I was gonna say I thought we had a chat command for that. I don't think we do though. But if you go to coding.garden/videos, there is a video on how I set up my Mac for web development. And I show how I set up my terminal here. It's a custom bash theme. Honestly, if you don't want to go, it takes some work, but there is a thing called OhmyBash, which is very, very similar to OhmyZish, that has pre-built themes that you can just install in your bash terminal. And it has a lot of the like the aliases and stuff that I wrote myself. But you check that out, or you can check out this video where I set it all up. It's not straightforward. There's a lot of steps. Okay. let's write some code. Let's also just look at this code. Let's see what we got in this little view app. So we've got an index.html. It has script type module that brings in source main. We can add a title. We'll just call this Pokemon Booster Pack. Plug the laptop in. Thank you. I always forget. Here we go. And actually, let me update my stream title just for anybody that comes through. Digital Pokemon Booster Pack. Building a digital Pokemon Booster Pack opener. Dragon emoji. Stream title, be right back. Opening shiny Charizard. Cool. So the stream title is updated for any new people that come along. And let me update the working on command. Working hot sauce? What is that? It might be the Hot Ones hot sauce app we built a while back. Oh, yeah. I actually didn't attend, but the Amsterdam, I believe, was it the Amsterdam View conference? Was totally free for anyone to attend online. Today, building a digital Pokemon Booster Pack opener with Vue.js and the Pokemon TCG API. Let me get a link for that. Cool. This is what we're doing. Oh man, I forgot to pull. Get stash, get pool, get pop, get stash pop, get status. Did I do it? Did it try to merge it? Yeah, it tried to merge it. Okay. Get Cracker Pop. that should do it. So if you go to git.io/working-on, or you type !working on in the chat, it'll send you a link to that file. Vite it's a front-end build tool, so it would be a replacement for Webpack. I don't know if it's like a full-on replacement. It's more of just like a runtime. Maybe you can use Webpack plugins. The main reason I say that is because there are a lot of Webpack plugins out there for all different types of like file loaders and stuff like that. So I don't know how much of this Vite handles or like what kind of plugins you can use, but we'll see. We'll see. So we have our basic web page that pulls in main.js. If we look at our Vite config, looks good enough. Let's go ahead and install a linter. Here's the thing. I can install. Actually, I think the linter will let me use Vue, won't it? We're gonna install a dev dependency of ESLint -D. I think lowercase d was like verbose. Vite is based on Rollup. Okay, so you would potentially use Rollup plugins. I don't know. Not clear. This is the reason why I potentially didn't want to use this, because it's not as full featured as the Vue CLI, but we'll get there. All right, ESLint --init. We're using import export. We're using Vue. We're not using TypeScript. It runs in the browser. We're going to use Airbnb with JavaScript. Let's go. Yeah. Now, if we look at our ESLint config that got generated, It's using plugin view essential. Cool. If I can't get any linting in my view files, I'm gonna burn this folder and then use the view CLI. So it can't fix this JavaScript file, and it's not complaining anymore. And then if we look at app.view, let's see. Feature can't find tsconfig. It's not complaining about missing semicolons. All right, I don't want to worry about this, so here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna delete it all and forget that we ever even mentioned Vite. Because if I just use the view CLI, it's gonna work out of the box, and I don't feel like configuring it myself. So we can select our features. We're gonna use we'll use a router because we'll have one page that has the sets and then one page for opening. We can use Vuex, that'll be fun. And Timon Dev, or Time and Dev, thank you for that resub. Half a year ago that you decided to support me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll use Sass. Good to go. And we'll use Vue 3. When in doubt, delete the whole thing. Yeah, and so someone asked, can you just talk about style guides really quick? Yeah, so Airbnb is a company, you probably know that, but they write a lot of code, and they specifically have published a style guide or some rules about writing JavaScript code that has some sensible reasonings for why you should do things a certain way. Because in JavaScript, you actually have a lot of options. The white space in your code doesn't have to be standard. Like, you could have some places that have 4 tabs and some places with 2 if you really wanted to do something like that. And Milos, thank you for that 6-month resub. You also could or could not use semicolons, and so a style guide basically defines a set of rules that says we will always use semicolons. Whenever we define strings, we will use single quotes, because in JavaScript you could use single quotes or double quotes. So basically it's a defined set of rules, and I use this tool called ESLint, which can enforce those rules. So I'm choosing the Airbnb config because that's the one that I use the most, and it has all of the rules that I personally agree with. It uses semicolons, it uses a 2-space tab, it uses single quotes for strings. Basically, a lot of things are defined as rules that I can easily fix with automated tools. And I'm going to put them in dedicated config files. Let's go. Airbnb config. It's the law. Yeah, and I'll show you in a second the config that it generates. And actually, if you're interested in it, they do have a good good repo. Airbnb ESLint. Actually, the JavaScript style guide. They have like just a straight up style guide. This is not specific to ESLint, and I believe they have different configuration rules for the different types of tools that you could use. ESLint is the tool that I use, but you can see, for example, arrow functions. When you must use an anonymous function, as when passing an inline callback, use arrow function notation. So instead of using the function keyword, they prefer that you use arrow functions. And the ESLint config basically says, if I ever see code like this, I'm going to put a red squiggly line on it because we prefer our code to look like this. And there's a lot of rules like this. You may not agree with these rules. You don't have to use this config. But for example, strings. Use single quotes for strings. Because in JavaScript, there are a lot of ways to do it. But basically, they're saying, if you use anything else, I'm going to draw a red squiggly line. It's like a spell check. I'm going to draw a red squiggly line that says, hey, you're not doing the thing that we want you to do. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I do agree with the argument for tabs, but I've just always used a 2-space tab. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me link to this, and you can read about it. And especially if you're like a newer coder, and you haven't really developed an eye for like what good code looks like. Not good code in terms of the logic that's used to write it. Good code in terms of the style of it. Like, does it use semicolons or not? What does the spacing look like? That kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting, Doc. I think I'm just going to go with straight common cards, though, because, I mean, that's easy enough to just filter out commons versus rares. But yeah, you could go by the ones that cost more show up less often. Yeah. And then pack art. Let's look at that. The readability of the code. Yeah, I like that. Booster packs. Wait, are they just here? XY Break Series. Actually, this is a great web page because I can never find this page that I was just at. Specifically, like if you look at the franchise page, it shows you every single product that they ever came out for that specific franchise, which is a great resource when you're trying to like find things. But I'm curious if they show us like booster packs. Post Malone, I forgot that he was doing that. Isn't Katy Perry doing a music thing for Pokemon as well? I'll have to watch that afterwards. Okay, let's just go ahead and let's build this thing. All right, we can go in here, we can serve it up, and now we should have a View app running on port 8083. There we go. Standard View app. It's got our config. We're not going to use Vite. Fine. Yeah, it's Pokemon's 25th anniversary. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Now, there's a lot more stuff in this folder, but it should be ready to go. And like for example, if we look at our home view and I get rid of a semicolon, that's what I like to see. See that little red squiggly line? Missing semicolon. So that's what ESLint does for us. It finds these things that don't match the style guide, and it'll show us errors for them. So let's get this View app going. I'm gonna rip out all of the default stuff. So like no links here, just the router view. We're gonna get rid of all the basic styles. The home view will be the first thing that's displayed. We're just gonna have an H1 that says hello world. We'll get rid of the hello world component. Doesn't need a name. Very basic home component. And then we're going to delete the about view because eventually so we have our home view, which is going to list all the sets. Eventually we'll create a view for actually opening the pack. And if we look at our router, it currently has a route for about, and we don't want that. We just want home. So the router says that when the URL is /, it should load that home component that we were just looking at. So that's great. Rip out the default stuff. I think we're good. Yeah, so if we go back to the browser, unable to connect. Let's see what it's complaining about. Let's try again. Router is what they say in the UK, I believe. Oh, it's 83. That's why. My goodness. Do I think a MacBook Pro M1 is good for coding? Probably. Oh, 3083. It works. Don't worry, it works. Okay. So we have a super basic app that just says hello world. Let's call the API. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get a list of all the sets like this and display them on the page because you'll get to choose the set that you open cards for. And so this is a page that uses the API data. Let's just look at the API docs and see what we can do. Let's get started. I think I'll have to create an API key. Yeah, so let me sign up and create an API key really quick, and then that should give us back all the set info. You must verify your email. Okay, give me 1 second. Can created in Vue be async? It can be, but it's not going to wait for that to resolve before the thing is created. But you can do async stuff in there. So I'm signing up for an account so that I can get an API key, and then we're going to call that API, verify my email. I can do it. Access denied? What? What are you talking about? Spiral double helix? Also, I should probably increase the size of this chat window over here. That. Look at that. Okay. There we go. There's an API key. Drink water. Oh, thank you, Pedro. I will. Oh, this is buggy, but I believe I have to sign out and then sign back in. It's huge. It's huge. Sign out and then sign back in, and then it shows me my API key. That's a bug. Though I think this API, you can't see it, but I think this API is open source, so I could probably fix that. Okay, so I have an API key. That's great. Let's take a look at the documentation. Here we go. Here we are. Now, not a bug, a security feature. Well, yeah, somebody said drink water. You're right. I've done some basic stuff with Dino JS whenever it came out, but not recently. Okay, now. We've done this. We've gotten an API key. Apparently there was a version migration, but we want to get access to the sets. We just want a list of all of the sets. So we need to make a request here. And the Timmy, thank you for that resub. Whoop, whoop. How long? 4 months. 4-month resub. Thank you very much. Cool. So we should be able to make a request here to get the set data. Now, we're going to do all of this in the Vuex store. Type 1 in the chat if you have no idea what the Vuex store is, and we'll talk about it. I'm going to tell you even if you do know, but it'll be interesting to see my audience. Cool, yeah. So the idea here is global application state. If you're familiar with the React world, they have a thing called Redux. They also have, is it the context API? It's the context API. And there are other various ways of essentially introducing state that can be used in your entire application. Yeah, it's like React Context. So Vuex is like the Redux of the Vue world, but it's maintained by the core team. You can just use it right away. It's all set up and ready to go. I'm so focused. Nice. So the idea here is I can define any data in here. So I can say like sets is an array. Like this. And so, cool. Sets are defined there. But you can see in the main entry point to the app, right here, we say create the app, use the store, use the router, and then mount the app. And hey, Sir Timmy, thank you for that resub. Very much appreciated. But the fact that it says use store right here basically makes that state available to any component in my application. And now a common thing to put in Vuex is something like your user object, right? So typically multiple parts of your app need to use the user, like your navbar wants to show the username and whether or not they're logged in, and then maybe a page wants to show the user's profile information or something like that. And so it makes sense to put it in a place like this, and that way you can bring it into any component that you want. Yeah, so this is built into Vue. It's technically a separate library, but it's maintained by the core team, and it just works right away with it. So, for example, I defined sets here, and let's just put one in here. We'll say name is XY evolutions. Like this, it's an array with data inside of it, and let's say I want to bring that into a component. Let's go to that home component, and let's bring it in. So there are some nice things provided by Vuex. One of them is map state, I believe it is. It'll tell us if it doesn't exist. Actually, I could do this now. Yeah, map state. So what this will allow us to do is bring in state from that global state. And you can basically do this in any component. We're just going to be doing it right here in the home component. So I believe I should be able to use this with view 3. Let's see. Let us see. So I could say const sets equals map state, and then just pass in the name of the state property that I want. So because in my state this is called sets, and now I've done this, now sets is a variable that has the value of sets. And I'm just going to return it in an object here so that I can use it in the template. But if I did this right, in the console, we should see an array with one object inside of it. We don't. Does it need to be an array? Let's try this. Yeah, it does. It needs to be an array. What's the difference between setup and, let's say, mounted or created? So setup is a new view 3 thing. And the idea with setup is this is the composition API. So if you wanted to tap into when the component was mounted, there's actually a function you can use that gets imported from Vue called, is it on mounted? Yeah. So this is a nice little function. And then what you would do is you would say on mounted, call this function, and then this would get called when the component was mounted. So I'll just say component mounted. So there's a lot of other functions like this. So basically, this is the Vue 3 way. I mean, the composition API way, because technically you can still do it the old way, which is just putting a mounted function here. And then you wouldn't have setup, you'd have data. But this is like the new composable way of doing it. It's not exactly like useEffect. You could think about it in the same way, but it's basically React hooks, but with none of the gotchas. You don't have to worry about when and where they get called, in what order they get called. They just work. So it's similar to those. It's kind of like component did mount, kind of. But in the world of React hooks, you don't have component did mount anymore. You have a useEffect with an empty dependency array, whereas this is explicitly when mounted. And then there are other things like watch, where you can pass in a dependency array. I don't think you doesn't necessarily need to, or more typically you would use a computed value. And computed, again, you don't have to pass in a dependency array. It just knows, it detects what its dependencies are. But regardless, we actually don't need to do this on mounted. That was just an example. And for Vue 3, this is technically the on created function. Like this gets called when the component was created. Yeah. Yeah. Would it be okay to store all states and all components in the global store? Yes. And that's typically how things are done. So right now, this is just one top level store that all of my components would use. But typically, what you do in the real world is you separate these out into modules. So you would have a module that is, let's call it like admin, and that module handles all of the state associated with users. And then you have a module that's called like Pokemon, and that handles all of the state associated with Pokemon. And then you have a module called settings, and each one of these modules has state actions and mutations. And then inside of your component, you can decide which module you want to pull state or actions from. But yeah, typically each part of your app can be stored in the global store. It doesn't have to be though. There's a time and a place for global state. Something like this I think makes sense because we could use it on multiple pages. But something that is specific to one component doesn't necessarily need to be stored in the global store like this. Yeah. Okay. What are we doing? Let's use it. So we pulled these sets in from the store. Let's just iterate over them. F. We're still live. What's up, Mr. Talos? I was like, no dropped frames. We should still be live. So I'm just going to have a div. And then for every set in the sets, we'll have a key, which is just the set name. Actually, we'll do the set ID. Let's put an ID on these things. ID 1, like that. So the key is that. And then right inside of it, we'll just say set.name. So on the page, we don't see it. I guess did I not do this right? I gotta look at the Vuex docs. Never seen a single letter. Yeah, that's the thing though. When people start typing F, state. Where are the helpers? How does map state work? The map state helper. Can also pass in an array, and you get that. Okay. Oh, okay. Actually, okay. It goes like, I think it goes like this. With state dot sets like this. This is what I wanted. Okay. So it's multi-tiered. So this brings in the full state with multiple. It's gonna have I believe it's gonna have multiple properties on it, right? Yeah, it should. That should have multiple properties on it. And then we have this computed value so that anytime it changes, we get access to it. I think this is it. I could be overcomplicating it. Let's look at the view dev tools. Do I have the view dev tools? View not detected. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let me just log. State.sets. We'll get it. Once we figure it out, it'll be easy. It's a function. View beta dev tools for Vue 3. Okay, let me do that. Just so we have some way to debug this stuff. The tagged release. Vue dev tools. Releases. Vue's version 6 beta 7. Here, I'm gonna remove remove extension. And then we're gonna install this one. Do you know about Twitch Prime? Okay, now we go here, hard refresh, and there. Thank you for that tip. What was that? Otzi, thank you. Cool. So this is the Vue DevTools, which is pretty sweet because it lets you debug things. You can see like your component hierarchy and stuff like that, and you can also take a look at what your state is, and that's not working. Should I not spread map state? Well, map state technically returns an object with all of the properties that you defined here. So like state.sets. Oh, do I need .value maybe? Undefined. Let's just search for Vuex with Vue 3. Let's see how people do it. Using Vuex4 with Vue 3 from LogRocket. Yeah, so this just accesses the $ store directly. I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to use $ store. View composition API Vuex map state. I think I've done this before on stream. I don't know. I don't remember what I did. Yeah, so usually this is how you can do it. However, we're using Vue 3. Vuex composition. Yeah, I thought you could do it without any helpers though. Context.root.store. Yeah, there is a furnace with a large fan right over there, and then there's some noise canceling, so you probably hear that. It should not be this complicated. It should not be this complicated. Yeah, I mean, we get access to that. Like these are older issues though. Oh, do they literally have a used store? Okay. And this is what we want. And then store.state.sets. Hello, composition API. What else do they have? Use. Do they just have use store? Okay, this is the winner. Here we go. There we go. It works. I overcomplicated it. The latest Vuex includes this thing that we can use store. So this is the store. We then need store.state.sets. We set this up as a computed value because in our store, we can have actions. And those actions can update our state. So I'm going to have an action that's like get sets. And this is going to be a function that actually reaches out to the API and then updates our state with all of the set information. So great. I told you it wasn't going to be that hard. First try. Awesome. So let's call the API and then we'll get them listed out. So we saw in there, I mean, that's my API key. I believe it's going to be public because this is just going to be in front end stuff anyways. But let's make an API request. So our store not only has global state, it also has functions that can be called which update or modify that state. So for instance, we're going to create an action called get sets that's going to reach out to this API. So technically you dispatch to the store to say call the get sets function, but I'll show you we can do it. I mean, you don't necessarily have to call dispatch. You could do something like this with the context API. Yeah, you basically would create a context that has an array called sets and a function called get sets or set sets. And then you can use that context in any of your components. It's somewhat similar. Okay, let's call this API. We're going to use fetch. We call this endpoint. Let's see if it works without an API key. And for now, I'm just going to log it out. But now, I need to call this function, and that's where dispatch comes into play. And actually, I'm just going to do it on created because I can do store.dispatch get sets. And so basically what this says is when this component is created, call get sets. And that in turn is going to call this function, which then should log out the data to the console. Let's see what happens. Let's close all this. There it is. It worked. Great. With no API key. So that's awesome. And this has a data array. This is JavaScript in Vue. So it has a data array, and then each item has a name and an image and all that good stuff. So that's awesome. So now what we can do in our store is we can update our state. I believe we get access to this is like the context here, and then you can do like context.state, sets equals JSON.data. Great. And then this is saying assignment of a function parameter. I'm going to disable that because you can do this. But I'm actually going to disable this globally. So this is an example of I'm doing something that doesn't necessarily agree with the style guide that I installed earlier, but I can tell it that I know better, and I can just turn that role off. So over here in my ESLint config, I can do this and just turn it off like that, and then it'll stop complaining about it. But yeah, that should be fine. Should API calls be separated on their own service files, or is it fine to have them in store actions? For my app, I think it's totally fine to have it right here because I'm only calling one. I'm going to be calling maybe 2 endpoints. But eventually, if you're integrating with an API and you're calling 5, 6, 7 different endpoints, it would make sense to abstract this out into a function or like into a like a service layer that says API.getSets. Something like this. And this function behind the scenes does something like this. Yeah, that absolutely makes sense, especially if you have a lot of different endpoints that you're hitting. Yeah, I mean, technically, you're right. We can destructure this. I think this is fine. Cool. And then our linter doesn't complain, but that's fine. Okay. Now, would you look at that? Just like magic, we now have not magic, Pokemon. We have the name of all the sets. That's baffling, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, thank you, Callum. Let's check it out. Is there something close to stores in Angular? I actually don't know. I don't know. But I'm interested. Like, if we check out Vivid Voltage, does it show us the pack art on the Vivid Voltage page? This is Astonishing Volt Tackle, which is Japanese. Not sure what you meant, Callum. I mean, let's look at one of the older ones and see if it has it. That's the Japanese pack art. Oh well. We'll close that for now. It works. And so basically what happens, and actually I can get rid of this because by default, when the app starts up, we don't know what the sets are because we have to call the API, right? So by default, this starts off as an empty array. And then when the component is mounted, we dispatch to call that function. That function in turn updates the state. And because this is a computed property, it listens for when that state changes, and it knows to have it has the latest value. And then in our template, we always have the latest value because this is a computed property that will update if the underlying state changes. Yeah, no worries, Callum. I think we might not just know. We just might not show the pack art. I think that's good enough. Or the reason there are no mutations and no getters. Yeah, absolutely. So getters are the equivalent of computed properties, and in our case, we don't need any computed properties for the state here. Like, we don't need. We're not doing anything special to the array. If we were filtering it where we only want the sets that are older than a certain year, that would be an example where you would use a getter. Or any other thing that needs to present a modified version of the data that's in our state. That's where you would use a getter. If we're just directly getting the state, we actually don't need a getter. We just use map state to get the state directly. And then mutations are no longer a thing because Vue can so like this is the other thing that's nicer about this than something like Redux or how you would do it in React, where typically you would have your mutations. And then for every possible action that can be performed, like sets, this is a function that takes in, I think it gets access to like the state and then the data that you're setting it to. And this is where you would say like state.sets equals sets. This is extremely cumbersome because you'd basically have to create a function like this for every single one of your state properties, but you don't need to do that because Vue can keep track of all of that, so you can just directly update the state, and it still knows that the state changed. And if we look at I believe if we look at the Vuex DevTools, Vuex DevTools, I think I need to install that separately. Or does Vue have the Vuex in it? Is it not in beta? Somebody help me out. Vuex is that. Yeah. And really, you don't even need Vuex for it. Because of the way things work in Vue, you technically could just import an object into multiple different component files, and that state would be shared between all of them. You don't necessarily need something like this, but if I can find the Vuex DevTools timeline. No. Inspector. No. Plugins. Vue router. Yep, and it would work. And so that's the interesting thing about the composition API. is yeah. I'll show you actually. Let's do it. Let's create a new file called mycustomstore.js, and literally this is just a function. Let's call it useStore, and we can import like a ref from Vue, and if we define this at a global level, so we say like sets equals a ref that starts off as an empty array like this, and then this store would need to return a function called like get sets, and get sets is just a function that does our API logic here. Oh, not that. Did anybody tell me how to get the Vue DevTools working? But yeah, it all behind the scenes, it all just updates the things that need to happen. That's why our home component is able to use this data. Okay, now this would just be sets.value equals json.data. Yeah, this is it. This is our global store now. So here I can just say module.exports equals use store. Then in my component, I could bring this function in, call it from the setup function. I get access to get sets, and then actually we can also have sets here too. So check this out. Let's get rid of all the things that we had in here, and then we can have our custom store. Import use store from where were we? Store/my custom store. Cool. So here I can say const store equals use store, and then actually I can just return that because it has return the store because that has the sets property on it, and then when the component is mounted, I can do store.get sets. This should work. Let's see what it errors about. Exports is read only. Oh, I have to export default because we are not in Node.js. Look at that. So I just implemented my own global store. And technically I could use this in any component and it would work just fine. Now, one of the benefits of using something like Vuex is they have their own dev tools, which will show you like every single action that got called and how it changed state, very similar to like the Redux dev tools. But this is the beautiful thing about Vue is you could create this ref anywhere and it would still work. That was easy, wasn't it? That was easier than using Vuex. But let's just delete this file. Gone. Let's get this thing working. What am I doing? All right, we have the sets. I want to show like the set images and stuff like that too. Really? Okay, let's go back to how it was using Vuex. The main reason you wouldn't write it from scratch like that yourself is that it could get a little cumbersome. Like you could end up with tons and tons of code, whereas Vuex already has a way of like separating things out into modules and has a way of bringing those different modules in. Yeah. So, okay. Vuex DevTools are not in Vue 3 yet. Oh, well, so I can't even show you the benefit. But when they are working, the Vuex DevTools will literally show you that it'll say that get sets was called, and then it'll show you that state was updated with this latest value. So you actually see a log of all the things that happen. Yeah. Yeah, Vue is very similar to React, but it's more fun in my opinion. All right. Now, we've got all the sets. Let's actually show their image. We can take a look at our state here, and we can see that every set has an array of images with a logo and a symbol, and I think we want the logo. So let's just do this. We're going to have an image, and the source is going to be bound. So because I want the value of source to be set.images.logo, if I just do this, it's a string. If I put this here, then that means interpret this as a JavaScript expression and actually use the value there. So there we go. We got all these images. They're gigantic. So let's add some styles. Let's call this set logo. And then here, if you're new to Vue, this is where our styles go. So this is our component that is getting data from the store, is dispatching that action. And yeah, you're absolutely right. This is shorthand for v-bind. But the shorthand is just to leave that off. Does Vue have, I mean, everything has a learning curve. I would say Vue's learning curve is a lot less steep than React. There's less things you have to learn, I guess, and you can use the stuff that you're used to. But check this out. So we have our template. This is like our render function in React. We have our script. This is like our actual component code. And then we have a style tag where we can just define all of our styles. One of the cool things here is I enabled the Sass transpiler, and so I can use Sass code right inside of the style tag. And so let's just say the width is 300 pixels. There we go. Now they're all the same width. It's a beautiful thing. Let's make them smaller, like 150. Great. I'll flex it, wrap it, and then we're done with that. So we have it in a container. Actually, we don't. Let's put it in a container here. And then let's call this container sets. And then sets will be a flex box. Display, flex. By default, they just all go out infinitely to, not infinitely, there's 100 and whatever of them that go all out to the right. Now, if we do a flex wrap, instead of doing that, now they all wrap beautifully. So that's awesome. And then we could put it all in the center. Justify content center. Yeah, just shift them all over. Beautiful. And I think I want to, yeah, we absolutely could have used CSS grid because this is technically a grid. Yeah, but yeah, now this is responsive because if the function, if the images don't fit, they just instantly wrap. You don't have to worry about number of columns, which is why I like doing it like this. Okay, I want to sort these by date, and that, my friends, is a perfect use case for a getter, or a basically a computed property, because this array comes back, and it does, and it has a release date. So I want to put the most recently released at the top and the oldest ones at the bottom. So in my store, I'm going to have a getter that is called sets by release or something like that. And basically, this is just going to be a function that returns the array sorted. So this should give us access to the state, I believe. And then we just do a good old-fashioned sort. And actually, does this format work with a JavaScript date? What's up, Caligula? How's it going? I don't know. October 16th, 2000. Hey, it works. Yeah, so we could just pass it into a date and then sort it based off of that. So we'll do set.release date. I can also add order by release date to the API. Well, Doc, that would be way too easy, wouldn't it? Yeah, look at that. They have it. So order by and then choose the field. I want to do it in a computed property just to show you why you would use something like a computed property. Okay, so we should be able to return state.sets.sort. And then we need a comparison function using a bubble sort. No, we'll use the built-in sort. But I can just do a new date with a dot, what was the property name? Release date minus b dot release date minus a new date with b dot release date. And actually, I think it would be b minus a if we want the oldest first, or the newest first, right? No. That. All right. the opposite. It should be, oh no, and then we need to use it. So now instead of just using the state directly, we're gonna use this getter, sets by release. Let's see if I can figure out how to use that instead. Can I do store.getters. Is this gonna work? Sets by release. Hard refresh. Oh, it technically works. Okay, I think I'm just sorting them in the wrong direction though. So here I can do B minus A, which should put the most recently released ones at the top. And it does. Beautiful. Yeah, that's awesome. And so this is a perfect use case for a what's called a getter. This is basically a computed property. This sort will only happen if its dependencies change, and in this case, the dependency is state.sets. So when the component fires up, state.sets is an empty array. So this runs once, but it does nothing because the array is empty. Yeah, McDonald's. I think we're gonna have to put the set name below it so you know that it's like 2019 or 2021 McDonald's or whatever. But here we update the state. This computed property sees that the state changed, and so it reruns this sort function with the latest data. And then over here, this is a computed property to bring in the latest value whenever it can. And actually, do we even need computed? Honestly, can we just do this? Hard refresh. We cannot. We cannot do that. Because this mechanism basically makes sure that it watches that thing for changes and then alerts the template. Okay. Let's put some more info here. We want probably like an H3 that has the name in it. Set.name. Yeah, McDonald's collection 2019. Let's we're just gonna set a basic font. And we'll also create a class for a set. Font family is sans serif. We're gonna make this a flexbox. We're going to flex it as a column so that it goes up and down like this. So you'll have logo and then the name underneath. And then put all of that in the center like that. Oh, and then we need to just put this class set on each of these sets. So we'll say class equals set. I don't think I want to use the Pokemon font. Justify content center, align item center. Yeah, look at that. It's a beautiful thing. We could also give it like each set gets a minimum width. No, it'll be fine. Yeah, we have the container. We also could put like a little box around them if we really wanted to. Let's give them a little bit of margin. One rem of margin. Yeah, splits them out a little bit. Great. Let's make it so that when you hover over a set, you can click on it. So I'm going to set the cursor to be a pointer, and that gives you this nice little pointer, so people know that they can click on it. And then let's add a little hover effect. So when you hover over a set, can we do like a transform? Hey, Imphy, welcome to the show. Transform scale 1.1 1.2. Oh, it works. Look at that. Wow. Okay, I guess the other thing we could do is we can do transition duration transform 300 milliseconds linear. Is that a thing? So now instead of just like a let's go slower. Refactor 11 months. We're almost at a point where people will have been subbed for a year. That's crazy. Thank you very much, Refactor, for that resub. Do I know why the highlighting in CSS makes cursor look different from the others? I honestly have no idea. Well, I don't know if cursor is like a reserved word or something like that. Make the cursor a Pokeball. And can I use gap on the container? Does Flexbox have a gap? Yeah, so instead of doing margin on the set, so if I get rid of margin, they're compacted. But is flex gap a thing? Row gap and column gap? No, I think gap is just for CSS Grid. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong or provide like a Flexbox property for doing that. Yeah. Yeah, this will be on GitHub. It's not on GitHub yet, but it will be on GitHub. GitHub.com/codinggarden. All right, did I do this right? Transition duration. Oh, yes, transition. Wow, look at that. It's so nice. It's too slow though. We do want this to be like 300 milliseconds. Yeah, so now look at that hover effect. That's so cool. I like it. And then when we click on it, you get a booster pack. This took us way too long. Let's I think let's create a filter. Let's create a filter because you may want to search for the set that you want to open. Gap is available. Let's try it. Let's just do gap 1 rem. Let's see what happens. 5 rem? Hey, it works. I'll take it. Yeah, and it's a little bit less than the margin though. But yeah, this is perfectly fine. Perfectly splendid. Cool. So we're on the process of making a virtual booster pack opener. I'm gonna give some margin top. Oh, my editor closed. Some margin top to those sets. But basically the idea is you'll go here, you'll click on a specific expansion, and then we'll give you some virtual cards and you can reveal them one at a time. That's about it. What's up, Klein? Thanks for being here. Bly Manor. Yeah, I was referencing Bly Manor. If you haven't seen it on Netflix, it's a pretty interesting show. Okay, what am I doing? We're giving it some top margins. So the sets will have a margin top of like 2 rem themselves, so it should be pushed down from the top a little bit. Yeah, so this is JavaScript and Vue.js. Right now, this is technically CSS. I mean, technically it's Sass, but it looks like CSS, at least for now. The hover effect already, yeah, isn't it great? It's just so much better than not that. The McDonald ones are too small. I think I agree. We could set a height on the logo instead of a width. Like that. I think I like this better. Right? Yeah, that's what we did even. Infi. At a fixed height. I don't think I want an even grid though. And then instead of linear, let's try ease out. The only issue with giving it a max width is you could get some weird aspect ratio stuff. Oh, you're right. This is what it looks like at 100%. $200 pixels. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let's add a filter. So that way you can search for the set that you want to open. I really don't feel like doing any styles. Object fit. Would it then be a background image or something like that? I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it because this is fine and it's going to work just fine. It's going to work just fine. So, no, I guess we don't. I was thinking about bringing in a CSS framework, but I don't know. We need an input. That input is going to let us type for like Shining Fates and like filter out the list. Let's just give it some styles. Okay, form width is 90%. Margin 0 auto. So that should center it. And then any input inside of the form should have a width of 100%. So it should take up the full width there. Yeah, like that. And then the font size of the input should be gigantic, like 3 rem. Like that. So I should be able to search, and then it will filter the list. So for this, we need a state property to keep track of what the user has typed in. So I'm going to bring in a ref. We're going to call this filter. And this ref starts off as an empty string. Though technically, yeah, I'm going to have a computed of a computed. It's fine. It's fine. So we have the filter here. Now, I want to keep track of what the user types, so I'm going to say vModel filter. And basically, whatever the user types in this input is now bound to this ref. And now, in this computed property, I'm actually just going to do a filter instead of just returning the array property itself. So we get the sets by release from the store, but in turn, we actually filter that. And so for each set, we can just do a regex against the name. So set.match, a new regular expression with filter.value. Easy as pie. Oh, but wait. Initially filter. Oh. Why is this complaining? Unexpected new line? Great. It is empty by default, but that should match. Oh, set.name. Set.name. Like this. Now check it out. Fates. Let's see if we're getting any errors. Filter was accessed during render, but not defined. Oh, I need to expose it. So right now, this last thing that I'm returning here basically defines what's available inside of the template. Let's take a quick stretch. And what's up, Greg, who says, don't forget the semicolon. Yeah, but the thing is, so Imphy says, after using JSX and React for a while, input without a slash looks wrong. The thing is, it's like a web standard to not have the closing. The only reason you need the closing in JSX is because their compiler wants to explicitly know that you're done to like using the instance of a component. All right, this is going to do it. Yeah, so shining, did I not spell that right? Oh, we need to do a case insensitive filter. And actually, we'll do, instead of redefining this for every time in the filter, we'll just do it up here. So we're going to return this. Do I need to use ref even if I have vModel? So I'm using ref because I'm using Vue 3. If you are not using Vue 3, then this would need to be on your data. So I mean, you can technically still do this in Vue 3, but the old way of doing it is you have a function called data that would have something like a filter on it. Well, this returns an object that has a filter property that is an empty string. So this is the old way. You can still technically do this, but I'm just doing it the newer way with refs. But you would do this, and you would still need vModel. Whereas the way I'm doing it, you use a ref. You technically also could use a reactive, like this. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, and what I wanted to do is to create an instance of a new regular expression that takes in filter.value and then makes it case insensitive, and then we reuse that regular expression across all of them. Okay, here we go. You can also say if not filter dot. So if filter.value doesn't have anything, just do that. Why is this complaining? Expected. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. So if they haven't defined anything, don't filter it. Otherwise, we can search for Shining Fates, Shining Legends, Evolutions, all that good stuff. Yeah, technically this right here is array.filter. So this is, sets by release is just an array, and then we're filtering on that array. Nice, Klein. We so far we have all the Pokemon sets. I have all the channel points turned off because I always forget to do them. Or I don't have the notification, so I can't see that people redeem them. But I'll take a drink. For everyone that wanted to redeem Hydrate, there you go. But it works. Are you not all excited that this works? Base set. Who's excited? Vivid Voltage? If you type a slash, it like technically this is I'm not escaping the input, right? So technically you could say you could type in a regular expression here. So I want all items that end with the word fates. It's a feature. I'm gonna leave it. Yeah. I think one of the other thing. Hey, Revive Newt! Hey, friend. Thank you very much for the gifted subs. Thank you for being here. Yeah, ref is not reactive, so when to use reactive. So ref is if you only want to keep track of a single value. Technically, you could have multiple refs. Reactive is if you want to keep track of property changes on an object. In this case, ref was fine. Good morning. Thanks again, Revive Newt. I appreciate the support. Yeah, and so there's multiple levels of computed properties here because store.getters.setsByRelease is technically computed from the store as a sorted array. That computed value is then used here and then further filtered according to what the user typed in. But you'll notice I didn't have to explicitly specify that, hey, this computed property is dependent on this and dependent on this. Vue just figures that out. It knows that this function, this computed property, is dependent on the filter value and on the setsByRelease value. An object can be a JSON array. Yeah, sure. You could use reactive for that. All right. What are we doing? We should probably just get to the pack opening bit, but I want to show you another cool thing. Vue has transitions. Vue transitions. And Coil Twitchbot, thank you for the bits. I've heard of Coil. It's a thing. I think that was automated. I don't think anybody from Coil is actually here. But thank you. Thank you for the bits. Yes, Vue has these built-in transition animations. So I think we can do like lists, entering and leaving transitions. Yeah, so we have a transition group. And then when something gets added or removed, it'll automatically like fade out or fade back in. This should be pretty easy to add as well. I don't know why I'm worrying so much about what this looks like. We should actually be working on the booster pack. What if you fetch something in a computed property? Oh, you shouldn't. A computed property cannot be asynchronous. Yeah. But yeah, a computed property is some value that is dependent on some other values and will be recalculated when those other values change. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I like Vue as well, is because you don't have to worry about re-renders. For the most part, it just works. If you code it in the right way, it's just gonna work. Whereas in React, you can run into render. Klein, thank you for the bits, Klein. You're too kind. You should be getting groceries right now. But thank you for the 1,050 bits. Wow. Are we in another hype train? Did you trigger a hype train? Thank you, Klein. Very much appreciated. A computed property could be used for a shopping cart. Possibly, but I would think the shopping cart data itself. You could use a computed property to show the total price of all the items in a shopping cart. Yeah, I think that's a good example of a computed property because the total price changes depending on what's in the cart. It just works, trademark. Okay, now we need all of this to be in a transition group like this. And I think I'm basically going to do this. So the tag here is div and the class is sets, like this. And then we have our v4. And the class also is list item. Like this. Okay. And then we need to add these CSS classes. List item, list interactive, list interleave. And instead of transforming the location, I think I'm just going to do opacity. But we need to define... So the way the transition groups work is by giving it a name, and then you specifying the class for the item. And then in your CSS, you can say list items. Actually, we don't need even to do that. We just need... I think we just need list interactive. And we don't want to change the transform. I think this is it. Now they should just like fade in and out. Look at that. I guess the other issue is that they fade out and then their like height doesn't change. That's fantastic though. They're not reappearing though. List interactive. Do I need to do opacity 1? No. Yeah, the issue there is like they actually disappear. And so, I mean, I guess if I leave this, they're gonna just like move off to the right. That's actually kind of awesome. The fact that it just works. I think technically we would need to transition. We would need to change the height so that they all like shrink. Would this do it? Not quite. Height 0 pixels. Nah. Doesn't matter. I'm not even worried about it. It works good enough. Good enough for me. Yeah, so the container is completely hiding. I mean, I guess I could do list enter, list leave, opacity 0. Can I use Sass in here? Can I say like the image height is 0? And then here the image height auto? Scale. Transform scale 0. So that way they get tiny. I mean, it kind of works. The only issue is they maintain their space, so you do get that like weird jumpiness. Cool. It's fine. It's fine. I should stop worrying about this because we need to worry about opening a booster pack. We've barely done anything at this point. We're just showing the set names. So Nilo is asking, I put the code of the CSS in the JS, or am I creating another file? No. So the way that Vue components work is they're split up into separate sections. So we have our template, which is kind of like our render function. It defines how the thing should look according to all of our data. We then have our JavaScript, which does all the data stuff like fetching from the API, filtering the array, and this is all done inside of a script tag. And then we have this style tag, which is where we can define our styles. But all of this is in a single file called home.vue. And so Vue.js takes care of taking those three separate things and then combining them together to make a single component that has all this functionality. Transition opacity, not all. Well, we need to transition. I mean, that's how they had it. Can I do opacity 1 second, scale 1 second? The thing is, changing the scale doesn't change the things around it, right? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm gonna stop worrying about it. Let's get this virtual pack opening. Okay, now what we want is when I click on a set, that needs to go to a specific page that's going to give us a virtual pack to open. But if you like to do this in different fails, what do you mean by that? I don't think you can transition the visibility though. Oh, different files. I think there is a there might be support for that where you could say like template source equals thing.html. Might be, but not really anyone does that. When you're writing Vue, people typically use single file components like this. Margin we really need to stop working on this. We really need to stop working on this. At least on the styles. They're like crazy. Wait, list enter? Wow, I hate it. Okay, let's get a new route. Okay, so we need a new view. I'm just gonna create a new file. We're gonna call this pack.vue because this is where you will actually open your pack of cards. And then you can see what a bare component looks like, right? It has the template. For now, we'll just have a div. We'll have an H1 that just says open a pack. This is where our scripts go, and this is where all our styles will go. Now, what I want is this is going to be its own page, and I want to load this page when you click on a specific set. So let's create a new route. Over here, so right now we have a single route that's at the slash route. So I want a new route that's going to be like pack/open/set ID. Or actually, we could just do open pack/set ID. So open pack/vivid voltage or open pack/XY evolutions. And that's going to load that page where we can pull in the specific set information. So this is just going to call this pack. We're going to bring in the pack component. And that should do it. So now, when we click on a set, we want it to go there. And for that, we're going to use a router link like this. And we can say it goes to, the name of the place we're going to is called pack. And the params for it, the set ID, is going to be set.id probably. We'll have to figure out what that is. And this, all of the contents of it are going to go in this router link. So now, no match for name pack. Oh, I think we called it uppercase P pack. Yeah, so you can see. Oh, it does have an ID, which is great. So you can now we have this weird link styles, which I do not like. Technically, I think I can do this like that. Cool. So the route URL is OpenPack like this, but the name of the component is pack, and so that's how I'm referencing it. So I'm saying, let me see if I can use vtur to, yeah. Cool. So go to the route that has the name uppercase P pack, and then the params set ID is going to be set.id. So in the URL, you can see the set ID, and then if I go back, Let's search for like evolutions like this. I can click on it, open -pack/xy12. So then on this page, we can use that set ID to get the list of cards and then display a virtual pack. I'm gonna get rid of these styles here. So for a specific set, let's just do text decoration none and text color just black. Yeah, like this. Great. Are there images for each set's card backs? Oh, in Pokemon they all look the same. They all look like this, which is blue, so you can't see it because I have a blue screen. But they all look like this, so we can just find a generic image. My opinion on swapping the template and script section. I've never done it. You can. I think I'm just so used to always seeing the template at the top that I do that. But I could see why you might do that. Yeah. Okay. Now let's look at their API documentation and see how do we request a specific set. Sets/ID. So we can make a request here, and that gives us all the set information. I think this should be fine. It's not going to give us the cards, but I think I do want to request this so that I can show like the set logo. Though technically I could use the data we already have in the store to show the set logo. Because we could, yeah, so if we make a request to cards, we could filter by set. I think, actually, that's what I'm going to do. So in my store, I want a way to get a set by ID. So technically, what I could do in this pack component is when this component mounts, I could use the, get what the param in the URL is, get access to the state, find the set with that specific ID. So, and I think view router, I think also has some use stuff we can bring in. Like, let's see. Use, go away. Yeah. Use route, which is use the specific route that we're on right now. And that's what I want. And then from Vuex, we'll have use store. So in here, we should be able to get access to the current route. And then if we take a look at route.params, we should see the set ID here. So if I go in here, we can see this object. This is the route params. We see that the set ID is SWSH45SV. And then what I was saying we don't want to do is we don't necessarily want to search this entire array every time to find this. I mean, though technically we could. Like if I just want to say the set is going to be a computed property. So import computed from view. And then we basically just want to use the store and then filter the array to find that specific set by ID. So we'll use the store. We'll say store.state.sets by release dot find. Want to find one specific set where set.id is equal to route.params.setid. Like this. And so this should give us access to the current set, but I don't like doing this because we have to search the array every time. I mean, it's not so bad because the array isn't that long, but what I'm thinking we could do is we could create another computed property that is just a map and lets us grab the set by ID. But let's just make sure that this works. Here we should be able to show the current set. Can't access property find store dot state dot dot. This is not sets by. This is actually we could just do store dot state dot sets. Yeah, there we go. So I guess the other issue here though is if you go directly to this page, we haven't requested the sets yet. Okay, I will fix this. So right now we are requesting get sets inside of the home component, but what we should actually do is we should request this at the top level. So that way when the page loads, we're always requesting the full list of sets. So this is the app component, which is the top level. And so in the app component, we'll do this. I'll need to bring in the store. But now you can go to a specific pack page and it still loads all of the data. But if you go to the home page, that one still has the data too, to at least list out the set. So then we can go here and then we get the Rebel Clash info. Cool. I think we'll show the image at the top and then we'll get the list of cards. And then we'll be done, right? Okay. Oh no, I said I didn't want to search the array. Let's create another getter. We'll call this sets by ID. And if you watched, I don't know if it was last stream or a few streams ago, I talked about in my coding quick tip why you would want to do something like this, basically build up a map, a way of looking up something so that you don't have to sort through or like search through an array every time. Let's do that. So sets by ID is actually just going to be a literal map. So we'll do state.sets.reduce, get each one by ID, each individual set. This reducer starts off as a map like this, and then we just say by ID dot set with set.id, that set, return by ID. Basically, this builds up a map where the keys are the IDs and the values are the sets themselves. And so now we can use this in our component here. So instead of having to do this find, we could do store.getters.setsById .get with the route param ID. So this component doesn't have to search through the array. It just reaches into that map and grabs the specific one by ID, and this should work. Yeah, and it does. Yeah, so it's a key value pair for sure. Wiper default the store has no getters anymore. Yeah, because I think it doesn't have mutations anymore, because technically you can just mutate state. You always could just mutate state directly in your actions. So mutations don't show up by default. And I believe even if getters don't show up by default, you can just add them yourself, but I'm not sure why they wouldn't show up. Would be nice to have the name as a route. What do you mean by that? But yeah, this is a key value pair. The keys are the IDs, the values are the sets themselves. Okay, now we've gotten the current set when the thing loads. You could just use new map with array.map. Is that more clear, Doc? I see what you're saying though, because a map can accept an array of arrays. Sets.map, we get each set. That itself returns an array with set.id and the set. How do I feel about this? I actually kind of like it, right? Like, this is a little less sweet. Like, for someone that hasn't seen a reduce before, they may not realize what's happening here, but this is, I think it's like a serious preference question, but I'm not opposed to it, right? Because a map is going to return an array of the same length of the array that you're calling it on. We simply just say return a smaller array of two values that has the ID and the thing itself, and then a map accepts an array of arrays to create the same thing that we're creating right here. Cool. Yeah, and reduce is, I mean, I will say they are both confused. Both of these are confusing in their own way, because this is like array of arrays. I don't know. Let's do a quick poll, and I'm going to take a short break. Which do you like more? Reduce to a map. Oh no, what's happening? It does use two different kinds of maps, which can be even more confusing, because you have a map, and then you have a map of an array, like a map, like a dictionary. Map instance from mapped array. Map from mapped array. Reduce. It's all right. You have 2 minutes to vote. I'm going to turn my mic off, take a deep breath, drink some water, and maybe stand up a little bit. Vote now. Hello. I heard reduce is slow. Is it true? For this case, minuscule difference. I guess you would have to implement this with like you could do the same thing with just a for loop, like a for each or something like that. Just call find on the array you already had. I don't understand the point of creating a map for something like this unless I'm yeah. So I mean, this is what I talked about this like in a previous episode on like a coding quick tip. Basically, if you're doing this often enough in your app where you need to search through the array, it is much better to create the map once and then just use that map anywhere where you would have called find, because find is worst case O of n, meaning in the worst case, the thing that you're trying to find is at the end of the array. And if you're finding that thing multiple times, you have to search through that array multiple times. With a map, you have constant time lookup. So when I say get by ID, this is not searching through an array. This is literally reaching in, grabbing that thing, done. Like, it doesn't actually have to search through the array. So that's the main reason that I did it this way. Yeah, and Doc has the reasoning there. Yeah, and so the map. So the thing about this is this map is only called once. It's only created once. That's the beautiful thing about a computed property, is this map is created if state.sets ever changes. So the moment we get the data back from the API, this gets called once, and now it's there as a cached computed value. Alka, what's up? Thanks for the resub. I wonder why I'm not seeing the amount for some resubs, but 11 months. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here all this time. Wouldn't it be null if it can't find the ID? Yeah, I would come back null. We should probably handle that. Yeah, so actually if they did something like open pack / right now it's just null, and so we're just, but we could show like a not found in there if that's the case. Okay, yeah. This is JavaScript and Vue.js, and hello Alka, thank you very much. All right. Let's just show the image. So we could do some stuff here. We could say, and actually I probably need a loading variable in my store as well. I'm gonna do this. So loading is false when the app starts up. When get sets is called, we'll say this.loading is true. And then after we get back the data, this.loading is false. Now, on the pack page, if we're loading, we'll just show a message that says loading. And in a bit, we'll like show an image or something like that. If we're not loading and current set is not defined, set ID not found. Otherwise, if we're not loading, so if we're not loading and there is no current set ID not found. If we're not loading and current set is defined, then we can show the set image, which is just this. I mean, I could technically move this into a component. I'm not going to. So this is just current set.images.logo, and this is current set.name, like this. Cool. So it's loading and then it gets this. But if we type in something weird like this, it just says set ID not found. My fingers are out of practice. Yeah, and then this route doesn't exist, but this page shows us all the sets, which is great. And then we can click into one. The set ID is here, and then we see that there. Oh, never mind. We didn't even bring in loading, so this technically isn't even working. But loading is technically a computed property that comes from the store. So this is store.state.loading here. Is it just happening too fast? Oh, not this. I don't know why. Did anybody catch that? I said this, not state. Yeah, loading, and then we get the value. But if I do this, technically the data was already loaded behind the scenes. So. Cool. All right. Yeah, see ya, Timmy. Hopefully you learned a little bit of something. Front end is fun. All right, why is there a hash in the URL? Because I'm using hash routing. You can change that in the router file. So if you look right here, I explicitly chose to use the hash router. So this creates a web hash history, and it shows that. You could use browser history. I don't like that because when you deploy to a static file server, you have to configure that static file server to redirect not founds to the index path. Whereas if you use hash routing, you don't have to worry about that. You could literally deploy this to any static file server and it will work with routes and all. All right, let's get the list of cards. So we need to call this endpoint we'll create a function for it. It's going to be very similar to this. Async get cards, and we're going to take in the set ID. Cards are paginated at 250. Well, that's unfortunate. So we are loading. We'll call this loading cards. We're going to add a new state property called loading cards. Loading cards is initially false. Then we're going to set it to true once we start loading those cards. So we need to get API v2/cards and then set ID equals that set ID, I think. Or is it just set? No, it's just set. Equally fun and frustrating. Do I have to use the store to get all of my data? No. We could just put it all in the same component. And if I had done that, we'd probably be done by now. But this is closer to like the way you probably should do it in the real world. Let's try this out though. Let's make sure that this endpoint works. So we can see that Champion's Path has the set ID of SWSH35. And so if I go here and I say the set equals SWSH35, we get back 250 different cards. Wait, what? That's not right. That's not right. We're not passing in the right ID. Did I scroll down? Oh, I did. Okay. Search query. Examples can be found below. Yep. Search on nested fields. Here we go. Set.id. Is that right? And this is Q for query. Yeah, that's right. Venusaur is #1 in Sword and Shield. Am I making the Fortnite update? No, we're just building a basic web page that shows some Pokemon info. It's going to be a Pokemon card pack opener. So right now, you go here, you see the list of all the sets, you click on a set, and then we're going to show you a virtual booster pack that you can open card by card, one by one. This, I believe, has done it. So cards/ID is to get one individual card. This is to get all cards for a given set. I think this worked. Yeah, the last one is the suspicious food tin. I know that for a fact. And then there's that shiny Charizard V. Okay. So that's fine. I think the issue is, well, one potential issue is that we're only getting 250 cards at a time. Can we change the page size? Well, I don't necessarily want to order them from the API. I need to do the filtering and ordering myself. Defaults to 250, max is 250. Okay. We also have a total count. Technically, I could write a function that gets all of the cards if there are multiple pages. Like if, let's find a set that has a ton. Like, let's see about Sword and Shield base. Yeah, I mean, there are only 216 cards in Sword and Shield base. Does anybody know of a set that has more than 250 cards in it? I think one issue with this that I just thought about, though, I don't know any of you out there that actually open Pokemon cards, is it's giving us back Shining Fates and Shining Fates Shiny Vault as two separate sets. But technically, when you open packs, these are combined together. 250 Pokemon cards ought to be enough for anybody. And the other set that's like that is actually Hidden Fates. Did we see that? Where's that? This. Yeah, because you have Hidden Fates and the Hidden Fates Shiny Vault. You know what? We're just going to ignore it. It'll be fine. Cosmic. How many cards does Cosmic Eclipse have in it? $270. Yeah. Well, this says 272. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna add a to-do. And for now, we're gonna leave it as is. Because my partner's cooking dinner and it's gonna be ready in like 20 minutes, so I need to be done. To do, get all pages of data if there are more. Cool. So that's going to get cards by a specific set ID. She's making stuffed bell peppers, which last time she made them, they were fantastic. It's got like rice in it and beef and cheese, and it's all in a little bell pepper. It's a beautiful thing. JSON.data.data is going to be the array of cards. Okay. This is going to get all of the cards, and then I think we potentially want another computed property that will give us all of the cards sorted by rarity. Cards by rarity. Something like this. Now, this is the case where it probably makes more sense to use a reduce, but let's look at each card and see what rarity info we have inside of it. We have images, we have rarity, which is rare holo GX. I don't like that, because we have common. I guess we could just say if it starts with rare, then it's considered a rare. Common, uncommon, yeah. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to create a map that has all of the rarities, and each rarity has an array of cards. Sort by price. I'm not going to sort by price. Oh, no, she does not deliver food. Unified Mind says 258. Okay, we should be fine. We'll fix it later. Jalapeno stuff with cream cheese and wrapped in bacon. That does sound good. Okay, so here's what we want to do. So we want to say state.cards. Yeah, here I'm doing state.cards. So cards is initially an empty array. This function is going to set all of the cards that we get back from the API, and this one is going to group them by rarity, so that way we can build out a pack. And so this gives us each individual card, and I want to say if by ID dot has card dot rarity does not have the card rarity, then we're going to set it. So by ID dot set card dot rarity to be an empty array. So I basically want a map that has rarities like common, uncommon, rare holo GX. What are some of the other rarities? Yeah, but so rarity is going to be the key. The value is going to be an array. And Elon Musk, thank you for the bits, who says, I'm a little bit late. Can you show me again the thing that handles the cards at the URL? Yeah, let me finish this and then I will. So we have rarity mapped to an array, and then for each individual card, we'll say by ID dot get card dot rarity. It should be an array, and we're setting it to be an array here, so we should just be able to push that card in like that. Now, could this fail where this returns null? I don't think so. I think with our guard here, like, there's always going to be a property at that value that is an array. But let's see. So in the pack, we have the current set. We actually want to, whenever the component loads, we want to get those cards. I guess, yeah. So we should do store.dispatch get cards with route.params.setID. Now, technically, we probably want to watch route.params.setID. Like this. Because if the URL changes, we want to get the latest cards for what was in the URL. A /rarities API? Does that just list back the rarities? Let's see. Oh, yeah, look, it just lists these back here. Cool. Cool, I think to make it simple, anything that starts with rare is going to have the same probability. Yeah, so watch will basically recall this function if this ever changes. And watch also comes from the same place as computed. So let's bring that in here. And I'm hoping that this will work. Let's see. Getting cards for set, and then let's pass in the set ID. We should see this logged anytime it changes. So like invalid watch source. I might have to do this. Current set ID is actually a computed property. The reason I have to do it like this weird way is because everything is coming from an external source. Like it's coming from the store and it's coming from the route. But this should have the latest value and it watches it there. And then we want to watch anytime current set ID changes, we recall get cards. And see you later, Zamar Place. Thanks for hanging out with us. How do you force render in the composition API? You should never need to force render in Vue. The way you force render is by updating state. If you update your state, it's going to re-render. There's never a reason why it would not re-render unless you're doing it wrong. Okay, this isn't getting called. Maybe we just want route.params. Let's call this current route params. Oh, do I want that value? Yeah. Oh, the card API is PokemonTCG.io. Here. I'm using it without it. I did sign up for an API key, but I'm using it without an API key. There might be a rate limit on it. Yeah, this is using Vuex. Check it. I don't know how to do this because I mean actually do I actually just want to watch the route? Because if the route changes, then technically the params have changed. SM1? Yeah. it works, but this is one of those things where watch isn't immediate and we need it to be. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so that was the issue. So, okay, when the page loads, it's getting the cards for SM1, right? But then if I change this to be SM12, we should get the new set logo, and it should make the API request to get the list of cards for that specific set as well. So, because this is logging, we know that it's changing. And I mean, the only time this would ever happen is if somebody literally changed the URL, because typically you would go back to this page, click on a set, and then, yeah, getting cards for set undefined. We need to wrap this in an if. And Archivius, thank you very much for that sub. I appreciate you. Okay, so if there is a set ID, then get the cards for that set ID. All right, so now that we know that function's getting called whenever the set ID changes, we should have access to cards by rarity. And that's going to let us build out the pack. Yeah, so I need another computed property that says current cards. And this is a computed property that comes from the store. So store.getters.cards by rarity. Yes. Oh, you think if I just did route.params? I don't know. What is the proper way to deal with hitting a URL directly? I think this is it. I mean, this is how I've done it in a similar way in most of my apps. Cool. Now let's just watch when the current cards have changed. Can't access property reduce. State.cards is undefined. Since when? Okay, so if we go to Vivid Voltage, it is undefined. Let's fix that. So cards, empty array. Oh, I see. This should just be JSON.data. There we go. So we got this ugly thing, but it does have a value, which is a map with entries. And so we see that common has 44, uncommon has 46, rare has 33, amazing rare has 6, rare hollow has 19. Yeah, I think anything that's a rare is just going to get put into the rare slot. Isn't using watch an anti-pattern? Not that I know of. That makes things there isn't really a way to code this without a watch, because if the URL changes, I need to get the cards for the thing that's in the URL. If the array of cards changes, I need to do something based off of that. Okay. Yeah, now I think we just build out the pack that you're gonna get. So if we think back to XY evolutions, I think you got three uncommons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 commons, and then you get a reverse hollow, which could be one of any uncommon, common, or rare, and then you get a rare in the last spot. So we need to take these, pull out some random ones, and show them on the page. So let's just get 5 random uncommon cards. I kind of want a function for this, like build pack, right? Because we need to take this information about commons and uncommons, pull out 5 unique ones. Why is the map an array of proxies? Because it's a computed value. So cards by rarity changes if the cards ever change. So if I change this to be SWSH1, technically that changed the underlying card value. which is why it's a proxy. It's how we watch it for changes. Okay. Yeah, so I need 5 random indices that are the length of the number of commons. Yeah. Let's just create a little function, get random cards, count. And they need to be unique, exactly. Yeah, count and then the array of cards. So I could say the commons are going to be current cards dot get common, current cards dot value dot get common. I'll say get random cards with, and I want 5 of them from the common array, and then our commons should be logged here. And for now, we'll just like put the name of the card in there. Okay. 5 random indices from the array. And cards here should be an array. Now, the reason I hesitate is because we don't want the random indice to occur multiple times. It needs to be unique every time. Yeah. Oh, in the food will be done in like 20 minutes. That's what I'm gonna leave. The fun part, yeah, actually building out the pack. So we could make it recursive, where we remove the card that we just pulled out randomly, so that it's not chosen again. You typically don't get duplicates of your commons and uncommons. These are typically unique. Random number from length slice repeat. Yeah, I think that's fine, because we would be modifying the array. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we could do it a brute force way, where we get random values, put it into a set, and we just do that until the set length is 5. I'm going to do that because I don't have much longer. You typically, the most I guess it's not the case. Some commons do appear a lot more than other commons, but we're just going to make it so that every common card has the same probability, and every uncommon has the same probability, and every rare has the same probability. That will be a fix for future us. Okay, we'll call this random indices. Random. Random cards is a new set. And then we just say while true. We'll say, well, no, not while true. While random card's length is less than 5. Or size? Yeah, size. And we'll just say cards at math.random. Let's take a quick stretch. Oh, is less than count. Yes, you're absolutely right. Count. Okay. How do you get a random thing out of an array? Let's talk it out. Because I actually don't have this memorized. I just figure it out every time that I need it. Every time that I need it. So cards is the array. We need to get a random index from there. So math.random is will give us a random value between 0 and 1, non-inclusive of 1. So it's going to give us any value all the way from 0 up to 0.999999999. Now, if we take that and we multiply by the number in the length of the array, so cards.length, that will give us a value that's between 0 and the length of the array, right? Because if cards.length is 10 and you multiply 10 times 0.9999999, you're going to get 9.99999. 9999999, right? And 9 is technically the max indice in that array. So, however, yeah, so, and that's why 9.9 doesn't work. That's why we drop the decimal, and then that turns it into an indice that we can actually use. So we take this whole thing and we pass it into math.floor. Yeah, exactly. So use the, I'm not gonna, it's too cryptic, Doc. But that basically what Doc showed here does a math.floor. I mean, technically, when you look at it, it's nicer to look at, but I think it's a little too cryptic. It doesn't matter if it's faster. So random value between 0 and 1, not including 1. It's not really, it's pseudo-random. And this does not need to be cryptographically secure, so that's fine. There actually is a crypto namespace we can use in the browser that is cryptographically secure, but we're just showing random Pokemon cards, so this is fine. So random value between 0 and 1, multiply by the length, drop the decimal, that gives us a random indice. And then we're just going to say random cards, random dot add random card dot name. I think we can look at the API response. Yeah, name. Cool. And then we just return an array with all of the random card names in them. Random. Yeah, so this should do it. So when the page loads, get the set, get the list of cards, then get 5 random common cards from that list of cards. Here we go. Moment of truth. First try. Here we go. We got Snom, Shelder, Galarian Ponyta, Pinsirchin, and Goldeen. Try again. We've got Sinistea, Sobel, Joltik, Salandit, Roselia. Try again. We've got Ferroseed, Ghastly, Sobel, Yamper, and Grookey. Fantastic. We've done it. We have 5 random cards from the list. They are unique. They are unique for the commons. Yeah, they are. Now, well, the way we implemented it is probably not that performant because technically we could get the same random index over and over and over again, and we never break out of this while loop. Yeah, and so the reason that we used a set is because it's unique. I mean, technically, can I put the rare in the correct position for each set type? Well, the thing is, the rare is always at the back. No, I can't, because in some sets the rare will appear in the reverse hollow slot. I don't know. Card names are unique. Yeah, they should be anyways. I'm just trying to figure out, we don't just want the names, we want the entire object. Yeah, so this is all browser based, but it is going to be totally open sourced, and I'll throw up the GitHub link at the end. Now, I know how I could do this, because we could take, instead of putting the name, we could pass in the ID, and then we have a list of random IDs. Where'd it go? Here. SM12-15. And then after we have all the IDs, we could actually pull out the data about them. I think we're gonna do that. Randomcard.id. So now, that's just gonna give us something that looks like this. But now that we have that, we can pull out the actual card data for each one, so that way we can show the card images. And again, instead of doing a find, we're actually going to create a cards by ID that makes it easy to just pull out the card by ID. That should do it. And so in our component, we can grab the cards by ID. And then we can just map this to get cards by ID.get that ID. And now we should get, instead of each of the IDs, we get objects that have all of the info. You can see that they're proxies, but this has like the name, the image, all that good stuff. Believe me, it's in there. Now let's show them on the page. So I will admit, this is extremely complicated for what we're doing right now. Like if we were using vanilla JavaScript, we wouldn't have all these watchers and computed. It'd be a bit more straightforward, but it is what it is. Now, I think we need some refs. So we're gonna have a ref called cards. That is an array of all the cards that need to be displayed on the page. What does it mean when an object is a proxy? So that's a newer thing in JavaScript. If you check on MDN, proxy, global object. Yeah, here it is. So this is a newer thing that was added into JavaScript that lets you watch something for changes, or watch it. You can watch an object to see if and when something accesses a property on it, or if and when something changes a property on it. So for instance, you have like this object that has two properties, message1 and message2. You can create a proxy from it, and then your handler can like call a function if something was changed. So if somebody from the outside world says proxy1.message equals some new value, your handler can know that it changed. And so in Vue.js, that's how it keeps track of, and that's how it knows when things change, because everything's a proxy. But proxy is a newer thing. It is definitely not supported in older browsers. But Vue.js 3 specifically is using proxy objects. Before proxies existed, Vue.js used object.define property. This. An object.define property lets you do a similar thing where you can say, I'm going to put a property on this object, but I can attach a handler that knows if and when it changes. So that was the old way. It basically had to iterate over all the properties to define them and add the watchers. The new way is just to use a proxy. Basically, this is really only useful like in lower level code, like framework code, basically. Runtime overhead. Doc says, what does proxy mean? It means runtime overhead. Yeah, because basically that's how all of this is working with Vue.js. Like that's how it knows that things are changing, because it has a proxy and it has a handler that has a specific listener to know when our state changes here or when our state changes over here. But yeah, what Doc is mentioning is in Svelte, there are no watchers. It's just, it gets generated into explicit code that just modifies the thing if the thing changes. Okay, yeah, and you can look up define property too. There's a fancy talk that, not fancy, a nice talk that Evan Yu gave and has given, and I think there's a course as well where he actually shows how Vue.js is implemented from scratch, and he goes into depth of how like object.define property works. And then there's a newer Vue 3 in-depth course where I believe he talks about proxies. Hello, Mission Rover. Welcome to the show. Now, all that aside, we got our commons. So I'm going to say cards.value equals cards.value.concat all the commons. Great. So now, because we have this ref value of cards, this is going to update which ones are displayed. And so now we just need to do add uncommons, add reverse hollow, add a rare card to it. But at this point, we should actually be able to display those cards in the UI. So right below that, if we are not loading cards, that's another thing we're going to have to bring in. And cards dot, and there was more than one card in there. We'll do that. So loading cards is this. Proxy polyfill? As far as I know, I don't think you can polyfill proxy. Without, well, unless if object.defineProperty exists in whatever browser environment you're in, then you could technically polyfill it. But if object.defineProperty isn't there, then you probably can't. Yeah. Okay, so we want to know whether or not we're loading cards. This is a property that I created earlier in the store. I don't know if you can hear that, but the wind is blowing really hard outside. All right, I'll see you later, Mr. Weistro. Have a good evening. Cool. So if we're not loading the cards and we have cards, let's just show them. So we're going to repeat over them. Let's just do this. In a second, we're going to have to figure out how we do like the flip animation. But inside a div, we'll have an image, and then that's going to have a source of... so for every card in cards, have a key of card.id. And then the image source is going to be card.images, image what? Card.images.large. Why not? Just like that. And then let's just give this a class of cards. This has a class of card, and then we'll add some styles. So cards, display flex, justify content, center, flex wrap, and then each card image has a width of 100%, but each card has a width of 200 pixels. And let's make this SAS. All right, moment of truth. Let's take a quick stretch, and then we'll see it. We're going to see 5 random common cards from whatever set we're on. There they are. Look at that. We got ourselves a pack. And then we can add a little gap, too. And let's make them a little bit bigger. Let's do like 300 pixels. Nice. Nice. And so if I refresh the page, we should get 5 different random common cards. Wow. Let's go to a different set. Vivid Voltage. Actually, no, let's go to XY Evolutions, because that's the one we're going to be opening in a second. This one. Would you look at that? It includes energies. I guess technically you can get 2 energy cards in an XY Evolutions pack. Yeah. That's so crazy that it's... Why are we getting so many energies in XY Evolutions? You typically don't always get an energy card. We could filter out if the card type is an energy. Yeah, like that. It's so weird that it took us that many tries to not get an energy card. And these all are common cards, right? More energy. Let's look at the card type. So this is card number 97. Let's look at their API response. XY12. If you look at indice 96, that should be card number 97. Darkness energy. If super type is energy, ignore it. Ignore it. This is cool. Well, thank you, Electrothermal. Hope you're doing okay. Get random cards, pass in the cards. We'll just say cards without energy. Cards.filter. Super type does not equal energy. Cool. And then we'll do this here. Nice. All right. I don't think there are any errors in the console. you think builders to actual physical card packs have a system similar to this to help them build the packs? I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Like people that are building out the card sets to get an idea of like what a pack might look like. Exactly. That's a good point, Acid Spark. Because in other sets, typically you do get an energy card as the first card. Super type trainer is totally fine, because you can get common trainers mixed in with your common cards. Cool. Now we just have to do this with uncommons. If we look back at the API docs, we don't need this anymore. Don't need that. We should be able to do the same thing with uncommon just fine. So basically, we do this, call it the uncommons. We only want 3 of them. Yeah, we only want 3. And this should just work. So first we get the commons. There's 5 of them. Then we get 3 uncommons. So there should be 3 uncommon cards. And in XY Evolutions, we get trainers. Look at that. So we got an uncommon Kakuna, an uncommon Maintenance, and an uncommon De-Evolution Spray. Do it again. Professor Oak's Hit, Brock's Grit, and a Nidorino, which is an uncommon. You can see it. Well, something. What's that? It's my drink. You can see the diamond, which means it's an uncommon card. This is great. This is perfectly fine. Like the last thing we're gonna add is flipping the cards over so they're not all just displayed all of a sudden. This is fine. Yeah. This one. This is fine. This is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with what we're doing here. Great. Now, we need to get 1 rare card. And there are multiple types of rare cards. As we can see, there's rare ultra, rare hollow, amazing rare, which is really only in Vivid Voltage and Shining Fates. But that's okay. We're basically going to get we're going to combine all of them together and just grab one random one. So the rare, let's call it rare, is get 1 random card, and we need to create an array of all of the different rare types. I guess, could you get the card rarity? Hey, Bob, thank you for the 900 bits. Long time no see. I wonder if you could get the card rarities for a specific set. I don't think we're going to do that. I think I'm just going to, there's going to be a computed value. There's basically, whenever we get back the cards, we're going to get a unique list of all of the different rarities that have the word rare in them, like that. And then we can just iterate over that to create an array of all of them and then pick one. You could subtract out the commons and uncommons. Yeah, but then you'd have to subtract out the energies too. I think I have a plan. Combine all the rare when you build the map. I like it. Okay. Let's just do this. Rarity equals card.rarity. I guess I can destruct. It wants me to destructure it. Now, if rarity. So if rarity matches this regular expression that's case insensitive that has the word rare in it, the rarity is just rare. Like that. And then we don't use card.rarity anymore, we just use rarity. Done. Okay, we don't have to do anything special now. And now we just do get the current cards at rare. Should get one rare card. Here we go. And the rare card is Gyarados. For whatever reason, it's showing us the pre-release promo version, but that's fine. That's fine. Machamp! Nice. Hitmonchan! Clefairy! I wonder if we're gonna get, we need to get like a GX. Mewtwo! There it is, in Venusaur X. It works. We're done. Now we just need a flip animation, and I can go eat dinner. You're not wrong, Standard Error. Oh, dinner was ready 21 minutes ago. Well, I didn't get the text. The border printing is too good. We need slight imperfection. If we could like make it off center with like a clip, that would be funny. I think I'm gonna call it here, and we'll add. This code's totally open source. We can slowly iterate on it and add cool new stuff in the future. Dinner ready should fire an alarm. Yeah, but let's review what we did so far, which is not bad. I mean, actually, we could have done a lot more, I think, if we did it in vanilla and didn't worry about like animations and stuff like that. But technically, we should be able to choose any set, and then we get random cards from that set. So we get 5 random common cards, 3 random uncommon cards, and then we get a rare card. Man. So this is a rare. I was just verifying. I was like, I made this pack opener, and we're still not getting good cards. All right, what's our rare? Oh, Moltres. Nice. Let's try to get like a tag. So Team Up is known for their tag team GXs. What's our rare card? Nice! Eevee and Snorlax GX. Full art. Dope. So we got a pack opener. This is great. Now, what we would want to do is add some nice little animations. I see what you're saying. I don't think there are any sets that have less than 10 cards in them that I know of. I guess the other interesting thing is, like, technically the McDonald's packs, or the more recent ones, only have 4 cards in them. But yeah, I think it might have broken in this case. Let's see what it did. Can't access property filtered card. It's fine. You don't need to open a pack of McDonald's. And also, this is technically broken for like Shining Fates, because in Shining Fates, well, it's not broken. Let's just say you don't ever get any Shiny Vault Pokemon, because in Shining Fates, typically your second to last card. Oh, actually, no, we forgot the we forgot the reverse holo. But typically, your reverse holo card could come from the Shiny Vault subset. In this case, we're just pulling it from the same subset. But yeah, we got Ditto VMAX. A sold out error? That's really funny, actually, in light of recent events. Crobat VMAX. Wow, we're doing great with Shining Fates. Morpeko VMAX. Crobat VMAX. Yeah, there we go. I was like, when are we going to see a regular rare? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go eat dinner. I appreciate you all. Thank you for hanging out with me. We are going to do a raid, so stick around for that. The code is going to be up here on GitHub. It'll probably just be at Pokemon Card Pack, but if you just refresh that, you'll see it. You're very welcome, Electrothermal, and thank you everyone for hanging out. In the future, we absolutely will add like card animations, so we'll make it so that initially it all starts off where you see the back of the card, like this. And then it will reveal them one by one, so you can get your virtual pack. Yeah. All right, I appreciate you all. Here are the raid messages. There, if you're a sub, this is your raid message. If you're not a sub, this is your raid message. And have a wonderful weekend. Like I said, actually, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. I don't know what time, but I'll send a message in the Discord when I do. But Katsamillion, who is my partner, who prepared dinner for me, so we can all thank her for that. But tomorrow, we're going to do an affiliate celebration stream because she just got affiliate, and we're going to be taste testing some Japanese snacks and candies. So that'll be fun. And we just bought Pokemon Tournament DX today. I think that's what it's called, Pokemon Tournament. That's the name of it? Yeah. I only recently found out about this. This is basically like Mortal Kombat with Pokemon. It's for the Switch. It's basically like a 2-person fighting game, but you play as Pokemon. So we might play this tomorrow. Yeah, I've only seen the gameplay, but it looks like this. It looks pretty sweet. So we might play that tomorrow too. Okay. I'm gonna go. You all are great. I appreciate all the supports today. Thanks again for all the resubs. Thanks for all the bits. Thanks for the hype trains. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this, and stick around for the raid.